one of the reasons that video is critical and should be in every single courtroom in every single case. Video and transparency of the courts is something I'm pretty passionate about. One, because I'm self-interested in making money off of them. Two, because I guess here, let's, I'll take this off the screen for a little bit until we get some more action back from the court. Two, because it protects the people from judicial abuse or abuse by the state. And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state. But anybody out there speculating right now about whether or not a government document is accurate, well, I'll let you determine if government is accurate or not. It's not up to me. It's up to the government to prove they're accurate. And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state. I've long talked about the transparency of courts and what they're for. It's amazingly ironic to me that people hear me talk about that. They'll agree with me. The transparency of courts was always to hold government accountable, by the way, not your fellow man. And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state. And when you do take a moment, and you work with government, and you can find this in the recently leaked documents, and you cooperate by, say, asking them to come into your home, they will lie under oath to the judge. That's right, Alicia Sweep. They will lie under oath to the judge. They will fabricate a situation that did not occur. They will lie about your willingness to cooperate. They will lie about things that you said. They will generate statements said by other people out of nothing because I was there and that wasn't said. They will violate the rules of evidence. They will violate the rules of civil procedure. They will violate the rules of juvenile procedure. And disinterested judges and very fucking terrible attorneys will let it all go.
Sounds like a conspiracy. Oh my goodness.
Because everyone grovels at the feet of government.
Somebody does.
I don't.
Oh, really?
And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. Or maybe people who just like to talk really big about not listening to government until the government comes knocking. Then suddenly they're fucking pussies running around in the truest definitions of a 90s faggot.
Speaking about, sorry, I was going to let this whole thing run for a second, but speaking of pussies, I've been blocked. Rekieta has blocked me on Twitter. Now, he did call people a bitch when he was blocked by, or the people blocked him, but I guess it's okay when he does it. Now, we'll just get the rest of this clip because it's so good. I had to play it. I got it from Scarebro's Twitter. Scarebro's basically working for free for me at this point. I've got to give him something back on the back end or something.
Crying, prostrating themselves, begging for the leather to put their tongue on like it's a big chocolate starfish of their local police chief or whatever. Sorry.
Now, interestingly, we're going to find out that the police chief is on Nick's side tonight, as, according to Josh Moon, the owner and the operator of the Kiwi Farms, a judge has ordered the body cam footage released. The sheriff has declined to do it until a court order makes him, and he's going to wait until July 2nd to make his decision on that. Interesting.
You will never, ever find that attitude from me or my channel. And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state.
All right. Very interesting stuff, Nick. We got this new background, actually. It's pretty good. It's somebody made the I think this is a Kiwi Farms one. Someone took the 3 paintings behind Nick and they made it into the 3 fates. holding Nick's Threads of Fate. It's very keynote. This is just like actually an amazing painting that I wish that I had. And you can see there that Nick is in the middle wearing his red jacket because he's the Joker, baby. Anyway, how's it going, chat? We've had a weird couple of days, like a very weird, funny and weird couple of days. But Nick had a very strange evening himself yesterday. He was chair streaming. He was doing the Hassan special in his stream, which dipped under 1,000 views. So I might not be allowed to talk to him anymore. Like the 500 viewers that I've got, like if we get more viewers than him, then I'm not sure we're allowed to make fun of him anymore. So, you know, some of you are going to have to be removed. I'm going to start blocking random. Every third person in the chat is going to get blocked so that I can stay under 500 viewers because that's the way to go. But no, so Nick was on his stream last night for about 40 minutes. Then he just chair streamed for an entire hour. Then he came back, said, "Oh, I've got something bad happened." It sounds like someone like was close to him died. We're very sad to hear that. Like, obviously, that's never a great thing. But then, out of shame, he unlisted the stream. In fact, he privated it. But I got the data. I got the data before he escaped. Well, actually, he left it up on Rumble. Rumble betrayed him again. We didn't even need Cog this time to archive it. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Sorry, it's a bit disjointed tonight in it. But thank you very much for the likes and all of the early support. We've got a couple of ones we have to go through. Let's have a look. Bob Tude with a 2 says, "I'm blue, Abadiba to die." Nick Rekieta, 2025. Yes, we're going to go over Dead Hand Nick. That's very strange as well. If you don't like the stream, your hand's going to look like Nick. Here's the hand check for me, just in case you were wondering. We got Scarecrow with a 5 saying, "Freeze Peach champion, court transparency advocate Nick Rekieta colludes with the state to protect his fees after alleged state malfeasance." Yes, that's very interesting, isn't it? It almost seems like somebody was paid off, and I've got my own theories about this. I think, well, I'll get into it when I get into it, but some people have definitely made that suggestion that the wealthy Rekieta fortune is being used to keep Nick as Bodycam out of the public eye. But, well, unfortunately, some people have already seen it. Now, I haven't. If you're in Minnesota, you can go and watch this yourself, apparently, at the courthouse. 3 people have already seen it and done written reports, which aren't the same as seeing the whole thing. But it's bad, buddies. It's really bad. But we'll have to wait and see for that. Wagwin Kings +1 Rekieta block clubbed. I guess this is we've both been blocked, I suppose. Thank you very much, Energy King. Tredio, who I believe I'm going to actually see your this same message later in the clips because Alyssa was nice enough to include it because you were robbed. I believe that you paid Nick Rekieta $5, a tenth of a regular. The CNU inflation is hitting bad. These used to be worth $50, but now they're down to $5. But I believe that Nick was too cowardly to read this message, so I'll read it for you. It says, "Hey, bud, have a Kalen nude unit. Sorry it's depreciated so much, but that's what happens when you give them so many to the state, Aaron and Energy King." And he also said, "Also, teasing a sub 500 viewer channel is a bad look." I mean, we're pretty much neck and neck now, me and Nick. It's kind of funny. I think, like, I've got the stats actually here, but I guess I'll show. I got to save the good stuff. We've got to build up to it. There's a bit of a program here we've got going tonight. Jefferson C. Post says, "Punching down thus begins the meme villain arc." The funny thing is, I thought the villain arc was when I started all this. There was a funny post about me being syndrome or something, and it's like, if I can't be a lawyer, then nobody can be one, or something like that. But no, we just like to have fun. Some of my good friends are lawyers, but only some of them. 2 of them, I guess, now. Bring back shaming, says some Minnesota lawyer. Very true. That's what we do. We're doing. We're trying to improve society here by shaming the man. All right, so let's get into the clips. We're going to go back a couple bits because I typically only want to talk about Nick once a week. People think that I just want to talk about him all the time. That's not true. I only talk about him about once a week since this has begun. Okay, but that's been going for a year. So that's quite a few times if you add it all up. But the problem is I have to talk about it when he keeps doing retarded stuff. And he can't help himself. So I can't help myself either. I'm mandated to do this now because he besmirched the honor of the 500 people in chat that aren't liking the stream just yet. All right, so this is from Alyssa Clips. I'm going to be sure to like the stream. What uncivil law and legal mindset did to Nick Rekieta? We're going to hear about the disloyal law tubers. Let's have a look.
James, what did Kurt do? Well, at first,
Kurt, I think I saw Kurt in the chat. Where are you, Kurt, you coward? What did you do to him? I see it here. He says, this body cam dispute is the perfect coda to this stupid shitfest. Yes, well, indeed. Hey, I mean, there's a public interest in seeing this. There's a public interest in seeing this. Nick has alleged that the cops have stolen 2 grams of cocaine for him and a cocaine bullet. It was taken from the fridge that Aaron gave his wife. Oh man, my tab crashed. I have to reload it. Tab crash. Look at these tabs. I've got too many tabs, chat. But Nick has said that the government took cocaine and a cocaine bullet from him. That's his property. It was not entered into evidence. That's something that the body cam could clear up. If we see the body cam, we have a public interest to see this. And the cops take a cocaine bullet from the fridge that his wife's boyfriend bought him. Bought her, I suppose. And then he flew down to Vegas. We will know that the cops in this case had been stealing from the Rekietas. And I think that that's something that the people of Minnesota would want to know about. Don't you think so? Don't you think so, chat? Fierce Ramda with a 5 says, Nick's such a bro while touching himself reading his Kiwi Farms thread. He heard you say your Nick folder was empty and he got, I got you, bro. It's amazing. Every time I think that every drop of milk has been squeezed out of this cow, he comes through. He's all reliable, old Nicky boy. Fatty Katie says, okay, Nick. No more Mr. Nice Lover. You can sign over the body cam essentially, or I'll find our wife, record it, and release the vid on the Kiwi Farms. Don't do that. Don't harass him in real life. But if you are in Minnesota, you are, I guess, entitled to go see it in the Minnesota Public Courthouse. So there you go. And Skibro says, shout out to Kurt. Keep trucking. Ignore the narcissist. Yes, Nick, Kurt's doing like better and better every night. He might be over 1,000 viewers tonight on his stream. Do you think that Kurt is going to beat Nick tonight? Post 1 in the chat if you think that Kurt is going to be absolute Kurt bro victory. 2 if you think that Nick will narrowly edge him out. Now, based on the numbers that I've seen, it's not looking so good, bros. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nick's last stream was only 671 people, averaging 570 viewers. Oh, no, Nick bros. I don't feel so good, Nick bros. But anyway, let's go back and hear what Kurt, that disloyal rat who I can see in my chat right now, has said about this.
Just a complete ass to me.
Kurt was a complete ass to him. Now, this is not true. In fact, Kurt was being accused of being a Baldo washer when he tried to go through the warrant and looked for ways to attack it. I believe this is the case, right, Kurt? Maybe you can clarify the situation, but this is what I saw. I saw Kurt going through this warrant, looking for a defense. And then when he got to the end of it, he said, chat, this is unattackable. I cannot find any solution for Nick here. He literally put all of his power into trying to find a way to help Nick. But then he said, look, the government's just got him dead to rights. I can't do anything about this. And that was a moment. Honesty is not rewarded in the Baldo bunker. If you don't tell Nick what he wants to hear, even though he said, I expect everyone to grift off this situation, and if you don't, I would be disappointed in you. That's what he said. But the actual reality is that if you say anything mean about him, if you offend his feelings, then you're out. You're out in the cold. You're being Stalined out of the photos, and you're never welcome again in the hot tub at the bunker.
Like the lowest point that I could have. He lied about.
He lied. Oh my goodness. You rat, Kurt.
He lied about me saying I would pay people, which
I don't think this was true. I don't think Kurt said this at all. Now, I think what he's doing is mixing up. So legal mindset, or wait, hold on a second. Legal mindset. Since we say his name, we got to play his intro song. Legal mindset. More like
legal mindset. Legal mindset. Legal dick suckers, more like it.
There we go. Actually, I should have waited till he actually talks about legal mindset to play that again. I'm not going to play it twice. But no, so legal mindset release that people were dissatisfied because Nick himself said, I will find a way to compensate you guys after the $20,000 a day in super chats he was making during it. Was it either Johnny Depp or I think it was Johnny Depp, right? But that was the big of the trials compared to Rittenhouse. I think Kurt said, I never got this offer whatsoever. Now, it seemed like the people that were unhappy about this were, Joe. Joe was unhappy about this, is what was implied. Although this was all behind the scenes and it was never really mentioned. Now, Nick says that he honored this deal because he went into people's chats and he dropped $20 super chats. He's like, there you go. Clean yourself off with this dirty, dirty money. Well, I'm making $20,000 a day. Here's a crumb. You get a crumb. And he's like, well, I'm encouraging super chats. Well, he's encouraged super chats on my channel, so I really should be thanking him for that. It's kind of funny, really, but it is what it is. So I don't think Kurt ever said this. Now, Nate, the lawyer, also brought this up, I believe. Don't quote me on this. Maybe it was Mindset brought it up first, and then Nate reinforced the story. But Nick absolutely said, live on stream, I will find a way to compensate you guys. Now, no one ever expected money going on Nick's stream. No one was ever promised money before coming on a stream. That never happened. But Nick said to the public, and we had the clip. Well, not right now, but I've had it in the past. He said, I will find a way to compensate you. Then the story is that behind the scenes, he also promised compensation. It was implied money to the elite Baldo washers, but it never came. But now Nick has twisted this in his mind that Kurt is like demanding, knocking at his door for money, which simply is not true. But it's very strange because, up until this point, Nick has never lied.
I did not say I would pay people. That's an insane proposition. And I expressed a ton of jealousy about me, quote unquote, getting all this money during the Rittenhouse trial, which is fine, I guess. I didn't really
Is
care.
it fine,
like
though?
I knew people were jealous back when it happened. They wanted to form a corporation and have it organized and run.
Now, I think this was actually, I heard this idea, and when I heard this was a terrible idea, but people was talking about doing a rotating trial streams. I don't think this came from, I actually literally think this either came from Legal Bites or Good Logic, or maybe like Hoglaw or whatever, or Hoeg. I don't know how to say his name. But there was this idea was floated that the people could rotate the channels so that trial stream day 1 would be on somebody's channel, then trial stream 2 was someone else's, because people were jealous about the insane amount of super chats that was coming in at this time. Unfortunately, it looks like that was the only time to get those amount of super chats, and they're not coming back based on Nick's stats over the last, how many weeks have we been doing this? Like 3-4 weeks? I think we're like almost halfway through this trial, or are we more than that?
They asked me to run it, which would really have been a catastrophe. Can you imagine the fucking LawTube business channel? Oh my God.
Well, he can't even run his own channel. He's struggling. He's struggling to get over 600 viewers. So yeah, I think this would have been a disaster. This is like when he said that he had good ideas to Rumble, and he went to the Rumble meeting and he said, look, bros, I could tell you how to run your business better. And then they never offered him another contract. Interesting how that happens.
A bullet in my knees and leave me to die.
It's going to take an arrow to the knee adventure? What do you mean by that? That's a bit of an old Skyrim reference there, Nicky boy.
But that was fine. It was
fine.
I don't like when people lie. There's plenty to criticize.
He couldn't even finish the sentence. I don't like it when people lie. Is that what you're going to say, Nicky boy?
But don't lie about me in regards to how I deal with people. I gave Kurt way more time and attention than he ever merited.
He's giving him a lot of attention recently. Do you know how much attention that Kurt gave Nick? About 30 seconds when he called him a cuck and a loser, and then he continued playing video games, okay? That's how much attention Kurt is giving him. 30 seconds. Nick has devoted multiple hour-long monologues about Kurt, and we're going to see more about Kurt today, actually. He can't keep Kurt's name out of his mouth.
And I did so happily.
Yes, thank you.
To have someone do that when I was at my lowest point.
Are you aware that over the
Well, it just made me look into
the Commonwealth's
Never saw a video
investigation
minors
into this case?
This is not true. This is not true. Kurt never solicited minors. Now, he did say, I'm going to be honest with Kurt, that video is very cringe, and you should not have said that, and it doesn't look good. But this is a lie that Nick is saying that Kurt has been soliciting minors. He has not. In fact, that is defamation, I believe. Trio says, you now have more new viewers than Nick had yesterday. Well, I hope they're liking the video at least. Because you've got to remind YouTube, I got to remind you guys that, I'm in a bad spot here. I'm in a bad spot.
Hit like if you like the show. If you don't like the show, don't hit like or hit thumbs down. Be like, this guy sucks. I don't mind. But if you do like the show, hit that like button. It really does. I got to remind YouTube that I'm here. They are not distributing things out. Hit like if you.
Oh, no, I already played that twice. There we go. It's not. It's bad over there. It's bad over there. Sue him, Kurt. No, that one more lawsuit would be very funny. Although, to be honest, it's those sort of lawsuits are a waste of everybody's time and money. And Nick knows this because he's being sued by Montegraph. Fatty Caddy says, "Do not tell me how to satisfy our wife. It's my job." Okay. And WMMA scene now says, poor Kurt never got offered any cocoa. That's true. He never got offered any of the sweet, sweet Colombian booger sugar. But this is very true. Even though Kurt didn't pay me any money, I'm going to read this. So he's broke. No, just joking. We all have some cringe sometimes. Lol. I got to appear on camera now, so I'll watch the rest later. Court starts too soon in the morning. Very true. This is true. We've all got bad moments on camera, myself included. In fact, I've had one very recently. But the thing is that most of us are adults and we can take a joke. Because in the words, hold on a second, I forgot to read this part out. When I got blocked by Nick, I had a quote under that. Because here it is. In the words of some unknown abusive father and partner, I thought we were in the adult pool. My bad. It turns out we're in the bitch pool. It's the way it is, you know. Some people just can't take the bants. They can't take the heat. They shouldn't be throwing stones from glass houses. And that's where Nick is right now. Also, the integrity of his nose is probably like a glass house since he's done so much damage to it. And we're going to see his fingers later on too, which is pretty spooky, actually. Someone in his chat says, bullies only pick on the weak. I think that's something that I've been saying, right? Nick has always picked on people smaller than him. He's always been punching down. And like some of those people that he's punched down on deserved it. I'm not going to lie. Like Russell Greer, he's a monster. He's terrible. But Nick literally started out his career making fun of this man's disability with the facial paralysis that he bought like the slut's extra large cum guzzler lips so that he could open his mouth really wide for like dentistry or something. And then he tried to drink whiskey. It's like, oh, I've got Mobius syndrome. You know. So like Nick has always been a bully and he's always punched down. And he even said this. He even said, when I was in high school, I was a bully. But I think that's not really the case. I think that he wished he was the bully. We know that he had a death note. I can't play the clip right now, but it's on my channel because it will get copyright struck, unfortunately. Great song, the Death Note music, but I can't play it. But Nick actually had a death note in high school. He would write down a list where everybody he wanted to die, and then in poem day, he would literally write poems about the school burning down and read them in class. But it was just edgy jokes because nothing ever happens. And unless you're a woman or a child, Nick doesn't really go after you. Name one. Name one bully, one big bully you've punched up on, Nick. What, Legal Eagle? Oh my goodness, you said Legal Eagle was dumb. You punch it up. He's got 1 million subscribers. Oh, I'm muted? Oh, sorry. Whoever's got their bingo cards, you can knock that off. All right, I'll go back.
For the
Well, that just made me look into
the Commonwealth's
And then I saw a video
investigation.
listing minors.
Now I'm getting bullied by the chat, okay? This chat is punching up, okay? I would say something mean to... Damn you, chat. You got me.
Case.
Weird. No Nate bullying because bullies only pick on the weak. That's not true. I bully strong people all the time.
And your
No Nate bullying because he didn't solicit minors.
Thank you. I will.
Kurt was also a piece of
Do you
shit
have knowledge
to people on my show all the time.
I don't know if that's true. He got a one fight with Megan Fox about the AutoZone or the Denny's or whatever. Or no, wait. Picking up, yeah, it was Denny's, right? Denny's was the Nick joke. I don't know. Kurt does have a bit of an abrasive personality. He could probably use a bit of people skills, but I think apart from Megan Fox, did everyone get picked on by Kurt? I don't think so. I mean, he got drunk a couple of times, but I think like Branca was a much more abrasive character, and I love Branca. He's hilarious. But like, I'm pretty sure Kurt was just Megan Fox.
He was a burden. Used to listen to Kurt because of Nick's recommendation. The minute he turned on subscribe, he defers to Nate. He moved to be next to Nate. Yeah, I think Nate was helping Kurt behind the scenes. Nate's
That's what friends do, by the way. They help each other out behind the scenes.
really good at making videos that tag and go viral. So what is Andrew and Korea's problem with Nick? I don't know.
Oh, I forgot. I can't see it here, and I had a clip for it. But this cup, it's a Star Wars cup that he must have stolen from Kayla. But it says, I think it says like universe's best dad. He literally has a universe's best dad cup he's drinking out of. And yesterday he was always making sure that the cup was facing the audience so you could see it. I think now he's obviously been shamed out of it because it was a little bit too on the nose. But that was a very funny little like. There's a lot of fun details in this room.
He went weird on me like before anybody. He just all of a sudden he just flipped the script in the middle of things. So I just stopped talking to him. Like I didn't.
Now, so now we're talking about Legal Mindset. Legal Mindset was the first one off the ship, and he didn't say anything about Nick when all the drama kind of started. So some people thought that that Mindset was baldo washing for a little bit. I think he did talk a little bit about the warrant, but Andrew had been distancing himself from Nick for a while. And this was, I think most people saw that, most people thought that it was based on the Pippa situation, because obviously at this time, Andrew was exploding with his coverage of VTubers because he's a weeb. And Nick and Camelot had their drama where basically Nick was trying to get Pippa Pipkin on, the rabbit VTuber. I don't know much about that situation. But she went on Camelot's channel, and then Camelot said like, oh, he implied that he was dating a chick that looked like that was like her or something. He's like, this is definitely not Pippa sort of thing. And because VTubers make all of their money through vicarious parasocial relationships, this did a lot of damage to Pippa and potentially jeopardized her position in her company and also with her chatters. I don't think it's that much of a big deal, but apparently the VTubers say this is a really big, massive detail. Now, that doesn't matter because Nick was salty that Pippa wouldn't come on his channel. So he absolutely encouraged Camelot to double down, and they started harassing her a little bit. It was pretty minor stuff, but they'd like stream raid her and send her to their audience to go like annoy them and stuff like that. And to the point where she would actually end her streams. I believe she blocked people from re-raiding her because of Camelot after this. And Nick absolutely encouraged Camelot to do this, because I remember watching that stream and Camelot was like, well, should I send the boys over to Pippa? And Nick was like, yes, you should. Like literally that happened. Now, Scarebro, who is in the chat and is very good at sending me information. He says, courtesy of Alyssa Clips, and I believe this is the clip that we're just watching now. It says, Rekieta sees over disloyal Legal Mindset and Uncivil Law. Early on, Legal Mindset and Uncivil Law were both defending Nick following his arrest. However, Legal Mindset would soon change his position, though there is some debate as to the reason, either public backlash or some other reason. Either way, he would be the target of Nick's ire during the first stream following his arrest, referring to Mindset as cockeyed Korean. More like legal dick suck. Sorry, Andrew. It's just so funny. The Ralphisms are so funny. Of course, Legal Mindset, good friend of the show. Nick also seemed to harbor long-term resentment against Mindset for monetizing the VTuber audience, something Nick had failed to do and would remain bitter over when Pippa Pipkin agency repeatedly turned him down to collaborate with him. Bullet dodged. Yeah. Now I'm reading this, I actually remember that Nick was saying that Pippa, he wanted to be Pippa's manager, not like actually do that as a manager, but he had like the big brained ideas. He was like, Pippa could make so much more money if she quit the agency, then she could be on my show and I could help her reach new heights. Well, yeah, bullet dodged on that one, which is literally what Pippa said after the arrest of Rekieta. Kurt would defend Nick, claiming Nick was his friend until the positive drug test of the child. That is when Kurt became more critical of Nick, especially Nick's allegedly ghost-ridden Frank's motion. Nick would go on an X meltdown over all practicing lawyers disagreeing with his position. Now, this is what Scarebro said. Now, this was replied to by Legal Mindset. He said, despite the fact this appears to be posted in bad faith, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I think that Scarebro actually said it was posted in good faith, and then Andrew said all good in that. So there's no bad blood here. I'll answer this just once for the record. So we got Legal Mindset correcting the record. Any follower of my channel knows for many months before his arrest, I distanced myself from Nick Rekieta and openly pointed out this clear substance abuse, alcoholism, and rapid decline in physical health and legal prowess. The most prominent and clear example of this was the Gina Carano F ranking for his coverage. And this was like a legal tier list that Andrew did, because Andrew started to do his own thing, especially when the VTuber stuff came along. But like when people were doing other trial streams, he would do silly things that were actually quite interesting. Like he would go and watch other people's streams and then just rank them, like just for fun. Like he was just having fun, right? But initially he gave Nick like a C or something or a D, but then he claimed it to an F because Nick was absolutely wrong about Gina Carano. Of course, when she got yeeted from Disney for The Mandalorian. Ranking for his coverage in February 2023, months before his arrest, a point where I was proven entirely correct and Rekieta was entirely wrong. Her lawsuit survived the motion to dismiss and proceeded to discovery as predicted. I always attempted neutral legal coverage presenting both sides of contentious issues. I may fail to execute this perfectly, but I tried to avoid the legal eagle trap. Accordingly, I initially attempted to treat his arrest of Rekieta in a neutral manner. This was not enough to please either the adamant Rekieta supporters nor the detractors. While most of the audience appreciated my coverage, a small minority, all non-followers, deemed that baldo washing, while others, almost all non-followers, deemed it disloyal. I will not argue, but simply say that people can rewatch my initial coverage and be their own judge. I think that's Andrew's channel's tagline or something as well. However, upon further evidence coming to light and given the response of the Rekieta camp, which was to retort to ad hominem and defamation, I clearly shifted my assessment to predict the failure of Rekieta and his allies like Robert Barnes. Yes, Barnes was perhaps the most obstinate person on the internet who claimed everything would be clear and good for Rekieta. It was completely wrong. Then he claimed victory. His Barnes' victory lap was amazing to see because it was like the cope level was almost as high as Nick's. To dismiss the case via a government conspiracy angle. I also find it extremely telling that Rekieta and his supporters retort to the same defamatory and ad hominem attacks on others attempting a neutral assessment, such as lawtubers like Nate the Lawyer, Uncivil Law, and even tiny commentary channels. I think he's talking about us. He's talking about the 500. The 500 viewers stand up, be heard. The tiny commentary channels. Andrew, you rat. Andrew, you rat. I'm going to get him. I'm gonna go down to Thailand and I'm gonna join up with the Somali gang and hunt him down. Just jokes, obviously. Just jokes. But you know, it's fun being a tiny channel. I mean, well, Nick's gonna find that out very soon. Although he doesn't seem to like he looks like he's having that much fun. None of them deserved that. Ultimately, the continued mudslinging of Rekieta and his dwindling allies tell a sad story. His days as a trusted source for legal commentary will never return. Very, very true. All right, let's see the rest of this part of what Nick is saying about Andrew. I
didn't really have any problem with him. If people don't want to hang out with me, just tell me. My God, it's really easy.
This reminds do you need to post like a 2 weeks notice with Nick's friendship? It reminds me of the I haven't played this one in a while. It reminds me of the Clear vampire departure.
You're letting me go? So that's it after 20 years. So long, good luck?
I don't recall saying good luck.
There you go. There you go. No, anyone that tried to anyone that's like Nick says well he's like, oh, I'm calm and collected. Just tell me you don't want to be your friend. When Nick's friends come to him and tell him like, look, you gotta shape up. You gotta get better. You gotta help. You gotta stop this. He tells him to fuck off and die, like he did with Yellow Flash. He's like, Yellow Flash was like, yo, bro, you gotta knock this off. You gotta get some help. You know, I know what this is like. And he's like, why don't you just die, Yellow Flash? Kalea comes to him in the private. It's like, hey, Nick, I can't do this. Like, what's going on? It's like, you're fired. You're fired. You're gone. Die, Jenny Mod. And this happens multiple times. It happens with Alyssa. It happened with all the people. Like, there's all these the massive amount of leaks of the people that Nick has basically cut off because they decided to question the Baldo Führer.
How dare Legal Mindset cover Nick's legal kerfuffle? Legal Mindset made it very clear that he was not a fan of me before my legal kerfuffle. It had nothing to do with that.
And maybe Andrew's smarter than I give him credit for.
I mean, he said a bunch of wrong shit during it, but so did everybody. I didn't really care that people got things wrong. I was mostly just confused. I was like, why are you...
Chat, did he care? Do you think he cared or not? It's like, I don't care. I don't care that people got things wrong. Unless you're Kurt, when he just sends in the DM, whoop, whoop, you are not my friend anymore. Seems like you care, buddy. You spend a lot of time seething about this for a man that doesn't care.
One, why are you getting things wrong? Two, why are you abandoning all of your principles?
What principles are abandoned? Some people have the principle of not giving kids cocaine, but I mean, that's a crazy point of view in the 2025, I suppose. Like, oh my goodness, they're abandoning their morals. They're not gonna let me destroy my family and have my like hedonistic sex cult while raising 5 children and all manner of other things. Okay. It's my life to destroy. Why do you care so much? How does the downfall of society affect you personally? All right, let's continue.
About due process and government trust.
Speaking about a man that doesn't care, you see this micro ping counter down here? what this is every time there's like one guy, there's like one pay pig that Rekieta has that sends him like hundreds of dollars a day. This is basically the only person keeping Nick's career alive, but they love the super tip system and they do it every day. Now, some people have said it's fake. Some people have said because it's like anonymous or whatever. We can't verify it because only Melton's crew has access to this information. It's not like YouTube where you can verify the chats are correct. And also multiple chats can be sent apparently as well. So it's like a $5 super chat coming in 3 times could be 1 chat. It could be 3 chats. It's kind of really hard to determine. There's a really good write-up that Third World Aristocrat does on the farms where he says like the total amount. Oh, I see him in the chat right now, actually. That's really good. You keep that up. That scripting is pretty cool. So, you know, it's like sometimes it's like 200, but it could be 500. We don't know. We don't know. But anyway, this is a man that doesn't care. The micropeen counter is every time this one pay pig sends in money that mentions Kurt's micropenis, which I don't think that Kurt has ever shown his dick to Nick. Now, this is strange to Nick because every male relationship he's been into, he's always demanded dick pics, like he did with Aaron. So they can compare to his. They've decided that micropeen is the go-to insult for Kurt. So every time he sends out a super chat or it mentions like a micropeen, he ups the counter. So this is, and since every super chat / super tip has a micropeen reference, this is essentially a super chat counter, which you'll see later is very sad because it was at 1 on one of these.
And all that stuff. But, you know, people have every right to look at my case and have their opinions on it.
There you go. Nick co-signs this streams. I have every right. Everyone has their right. Okay. We just want to get that out there.
I just wished they would have asked. I would have given them tons of information. They could have done better analysis. Like I didn't care about it. But no, it was clear that some people thought I was going away for a long time.
Now, this is the theory that Nick has, is that everybody, so Nick believes that because he thinks that everyone thought he was going to prison for like 25 years, which no one really thought that. Everyone said that they thought he would get a deferment, community service, maybe a fine, that sort of thing. Nick has been putting forward this headcanon that since he was going to be in jail and wouldn't be able to defend himself, that's when everyone chose the moment to Julius Caesar him in the back and just like, pick up the pieces of his fallen empire or something. This is not true. This is not true whatsoever. And he's like, well, you thought I wouldn't be around here to defend myself, except every time the only defense we've seen is when he was doing his screaming match at Keanu, and he failed against that. Even with the support of 4 people, he lost to a woman. You know why? It's because Nick himself is a bit of a woman. And that's why Keanu won, because she had experience that Nick didn't have. She's got that whole life of experience, whereas Nick has just recently become a woman.
Like maybe forever. And so they took it as an opportunity to do whatever they wanted to do with that. And I don't know why. They don't know I'm a stubborn, egotistical asshole. I was definitely coming back. Even if
we already knew this. We actually already knew this. We knew this a long time ago. It's like, oh, people weren't going to talk about me because they thought I wasn't coming back. Then why are they talking about you now? If they were so afraid to talk about you because they thought you weren't coming back, then why do people keep talking about you now that you're clearly here? Although we're going to see. We're going to see in August, okay? What is it like? We're about to hit the first day of July. So Nick has 2 months to do 2 weeks of so he's got 8 weeks left to do 2 weeks of community service. If he doesn't hurry up, that's gonna be hard to squeeze in there. He's gonna be like a university student cramming on the last night before the exams. Like that'll be really funny actually if that actually happens to it.
If it was just,
is this actually we've got pictures of the hypoxia later, guys? Okay, don't worry, we'll get to the hypoxia, then we'll get to the body cam stuff, then we'll get to the Montagraph stuff. I've got this all ordered out. I'm trying to do this chronologically.
To come back. Even if I was going to walk off into the sunset, I would come back first. Duh.
That's a bit dark. Is he talking about sunsetting himself? What does he mean by that?
Tide Will Roll says, I mean, I initially didn't believe your side until I did some research. May have sent some hateful replies on Twitter. My bad. It's fine.
So he convinced somebody. Somebody was dumb enough to be convinced by him. So I guess there's at least one of them out there.
There's some people and stuff who I needed to remove because it was taking up my attention, time, and stuff like.
By the way, I will just say that if someone is annoying you, you probably should block them. Now, I'm not a pussy, so I'm not going to block anybody. But if someone is taking like your valuable time out of your day, or it's like or like if you can't handle the bans and it's causing you like actual physical distress, words don't affect me. That's why I didn't block anybody. Unlike Nick. But like, yeah, if someone is actually having an effect on your life, then blocking them is perfectly fine because you've only got one life. You know, YOLO it to be a bit cringe. But you don't have to waste time on people. So the whole blocking argument is kind of silly, I'll admit. But Nick did call people a bitch when they blocked him. So I think I'm in my rights to call him a bitch now that he's blocked me. All right, let's continue.
Like that. So
It's the
but for
hypocrisy.
part,
That's
like
the
if
thing.
people, you know, said something negative or whatever, I just call you dumb or say you're wrong or say you don't know, you don't have the information or whatever, and then move on.
Does he sound like a man that's moved on? Did he move on from Keanu when he kept coming back like 18 times into the stream? Like, this is all good advice if it was true, but it's not. And if he did this, it would have been good, but he didn't.
So yeah, it doesn't.
The
it doesn't
worst
really
part is
matter.
the hypocrisy.
It was really frustrating having to sit for a year without being able to talk.
Do you guys remember that full year where Nick said nothing? Man, that was like radio silent Nick. That was an arc that I can remember. Oh boy, those days. Just like, where is he? Why isn't he tweeting 20 times? Like, yeah, that year he spent not talking. Wow, I remember those days. Sure, buddy. Crazy.
Because I would rather just talked from the start. Like it would have been way easier to be like, whoops, this is bad. I did a bunch of bad stuff, I guess. Sorry.
Yep.
But I couldn't do that because I didn't want to go to prison. I didn't think that would be good for the whole family situation. Mindset said something about Barnes and Barnes.
Hold on. He's been punished enough. He's Nick Depp. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Unironically, I'm going to have to stop talking about Nick because now that I've got more people watching me than his show, I feel bad about it. I actually feel guilty now. I don't like punching down. So can I get like 500 people to leave the stream right now? Like the stream, then leave it. You're not welcome here, okay? This is a small channel, okay? The Elite 500. Every second person is getting a Kurt message tonight. And I see potentially Trimmel in the chat says micro pain. Don't worry, I'll get to the other chats in a second, guys. I'm trying to not interrupt too much of this.
Barnes mentioned he could spend some time looking into his Florida life and move to Thailand. Yeah, I don't have any data.
So this is true also. Like as soon as like Andrew didn't really hit back first, didn't strike first. Barnes literally came out and is like, "Oh, what's a single guy living in Thailand for? That's pretty sus." But by the way, Barnes lives in Las Vegas. Just putting that out there. But they literally went to the ad hominems first, and that's when Andrew started like kind of hitting back at them
On why mindsets in Thailand or whatever. I can make jokes about it.
By the way, Nick has said that he wants to leave America. He's like, "Oh, why would somebody live in another country? That's weird." But Nick is actually still in his locals that he wants to leave Minnesota. And then specifically, he also wants to leave the US. So he wants to abandon the country his daddy gave him, but he can't comprehend why somebody might want to live outside of their own country. Okay. You know, sometimes it's just fun. Do you guys not travel? Oh, dear.
Mostly make jokes when I do about his like pretend super Chad persona where he's out there just crushing Korean puss all day or whatever.
Can we enough about the super Chad personas? Can we talk about the super dad personas? Do you remember that? The white picket fence 5 kids? She's my lady. We have never had sex with anyone. We were each other's first. We love each other. Didn't really hold up to scrutiny, did it? So if you want to talk about fake personas, I think you probably should start with yourself.
I think that's complete bullshit. Again, guy looks in 2 different
I'm
counties
going
at
to move
once.
to, for the moment, we'll come back.
And he
to the
walks
other
like he got
topic,
hollowed
a
out
little
the night
bit,
before.
later.
I don't know what happened to him to cause that, but it's weird.
Oh, come on.
As we
Just don't tell
discussed,
me
Getting
I'm
that
doing like-
he's getting that bussy. Oh no.
Yeah.
you've got
Super shadow.
on various documents.
Seems pretty upset. Maybe he's just mad because he's not allowed to leave the country without asking government daddy for permission first. All right, that's that part. All right, now we're going to get into the events of last night after I get through these chats. Kurt can't get a date, says Scarebro, but Nick had 2 wives. That seems like he needs to have his wives redistributed. We need to get the bread tubers on this. Nick had 2 wives, the beta and the backup/upgrade. He couldn't unload on the former, though. The injustice. Yes, he would have upgraded if he had the chance. Unfortunately, Nick is just a piece of driftwood. He can't make decisions for his life, and he was waiting for Kayla to break up with him so he wouldn't feel like the bad guy. Because Nick is a bad guy, but he doesn't want to feel like a bad guy. That's important. It's not what's true. It's not what's honest. It's not what's good and right. It's how he feels. That's how he does everything in his life. And these are revealed by the text messages from Keanu. This is some additional content that I haven't actually gone over. But after the Seethe session, where he yelled at Keanu for 3 hours, and he was shocked that a woman being yelled at didn't cower away like he's used to in real life, or when he's in an elevator or something. But then he started leaking DMs with Keanu, so she leaked some back, and in them, April says, in no uncertain words, that she believed that Nick was going to leave Kayla for him, or for her, I should say, sorry. But she said that Nick was afraid. He thought the relationship was over. He thought the marriage was over, but he was waiting for Kayla to break up with him so he wouldn't feel like a piece of shit. He didn't know how to do it. Just a driftwood on the waves, going wherever the tide takes him. That's Nick. That's called being a pussy. Be a man and break up with one of the bitches, okay? Dear. Sorry, where were we? Was I here, right? Oh, no, I already must have fished this. Nick, you shouldn't cheat on your wife or use cocaine. Nick, I hate you, Kurt. Yes, true. Thank you for this big support tonight. Scarecrow with another fiber. He says, in Japanese idol cultures, idols cannot date. Branding thing. VTubers are just online idols. Yeah, I almost said idiots, but idols. This is actually very true. And this is very weird. And I actually hate the idol industry because of this. But basically, if you think of like Japanese pop groups like AKB48, they mostly serve a very otaku/nerdy audience, and they literally have no boyfriend contracts, because if the fans find out they have boyfriends, then that hurts the bottom line. And there's actually a case where one of the AKB48 members, she got found out being on a secret date, and then she had to do a public apology where she shaved her head and was crying. And this is a very common thing, like the secret boyfriends, they're getting found out in the idol industry, happens all the time. And like I said, it's a really, I think it's a really predatory, bad industry. And it's one of the bad things about Japan. But this is very true. And yeah, this is exactly why the VTubers have to protect their image like that. And this is why people were so upset. So it's good context. Good context. Scree, new member, thank you very much. Of course, joining as a member gives you access to the Discord. You can find the community tab. There's a private link to the invite to the Discord where we can just post memes and shit. Let me see. Jefferson C. Post says, disloyal, yet Andrew supported Nick versus Legal Bites. That's true. And I think he mentions Legal Bites later on in these clips, but I guess he already has. But yes, during the first LawTube Civil War, Legal Bites was very cringe. And there was like kind of like the divide. And I believe that Sean and actually I'm not sure if Sean was on the scene just then. He may have been just emerging then. But Andrew stood with Nick on that side. And I think most of us did, actually. Unfortunate it turned out like that. The Kurt mindset clip has serious dark side Phil energy. It really does. Like, Nick is becoming Ralph or dark side Phil really quickly. Where is he going to be in a year from now is my question. Charlie with 1,000 yen. Oh, fellow Japan bro says, please tell me we're going to get a W and see the body cam. There's some interesting developments on that. We got documents about that, like literally filed, I believe, last night. It would be a miserable end up not seeing them after watching Keanu, like Queen Keanu, I guess. Queen Keanu depth testing Rekieta and his bulldog guards. Total Rekieta depth destruction. Yeah, okay. B Buster with the 10 says all you need is chats. Thank you very much. Yes, I need more. We need more. Wait, I think I've actually got that clip. Do I have that? Hold on, give me a second. And I very rarely use it. I do actually have this.
Yeah. We need more. Yes. We need more. Yes.
We need more, chat. We need more. All right. Where were we? Unprincipled, egotistical, and stubborn was the shock. Yep. Aspen Fallen says, like it or leave it. Very true. Very true. That's in regards to the stream. Nick starts his Jamaica art again. He wants to go to Jamaica. He wants to leave the country and go to Jamaica because he said Jamaica was a country with no judgment and no fear or whatever it was. And I guess all the I should be careful. I won't say that. He huffed away his own faculties. Hypoxia. It's like hypoxia hypocrisy. Hypoxia hypocrisy, I guess is how you would say that. Sorry. You can mark another one off in the bingo chat. Energy King with a 5 says, there's nothing sus about single men living on a tropical island. Thank you, Energy King. Very true. And Galaxy Gosh, Galaxy, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to bring this up. This is, I'm going to let the chat in on the joke, okay? I'm going to let the chat in on the joke. Because unlike Nick, I don't just read my Twitter in private. And here you go. Here's the bingo for the stream. Here's the stream bingo, okay? So if you want to screenshot, oh wait, no, I'm not showing my screen. Here you go. If you want to screenshot this, let's see. We've got the bad headline already. Does a bad Ethan Ralph impression already. Muted already. Talks about his other channel, not yet. No pre-sign. So no bingo just yet. The tabs open and infinite open, yes. Screenshot this if you want to play bingo and let me know if you get bingo tonight. Okay. There you go. And also, Harada, welcome to new member. All right. Let's go. If you get bingo, make sure you say it in the chat. Okay, this is Johnny Depp did drugs next to his daughter too. Why are you so mad? This is a quick one.
Damn, Nick, why is everyone so interested in your personal life, drama seekers all?
I don't know.
How could anybody be interested in watching this dumpster fire? There's a train on exploding in the distance. How can people be interested in looking at that? It's so weird and funny, despite the fact, like, the thing is you got bingo already? You can't be. Send it to me on Twitter if you really got bingo. The hypocrisy of it is so annoying because the entirety of YouTube is basically talking about people's shit situations. Johnny Depp was just drama. That's the only reason people watching it. It's because it's Johnny Depp versus some crazy bitch. That's drama. It's like, how could anybody be interested in this when his job is literally talking about the exact same thing? It's the hypocrisy. That's the worst part, chat.
I like it.
This is also, I will just say, this is a man. He's like, I can't believe people are interested in my life. This man flew to Vegas from Minnesota and he brought a fridge that his wife's boyfriend bought her to talk about Aaron Golfman Imholte. Okay. Like, how could anybody be interested in me when I spent 3 days in Vegas talking about Aaron? I don't get it. Make it make sense, chat. On Mother's Day. Yes, on Mother's Day. Hey, look, she gets what she deserves.
Johnny Depp sat on the stand and talked about doing MDMA and other drugs, and I believe with his minor daughter around. Like,
I don't know if this is true, but if it is, it's not okay. Nobody said based Johnny Depp. Do more MDMA by your daughter. Nobody said that. If Johnny Depp did that, if that is true, that is a bad thing to do. Nobody is co-signing this fact. Second of all, I believe this is what you call whataboutism. What about Johnny Depp? Well, what about Johnny Depp? He did something bad too. That means I'm okay. I thought the crew over at the Mapton Appreciation Society, where they talk about Aaron's kids all day, they said that it's not very good to talk about whataboutism.
right next to it.
There's a new Alyssa clip right on the. Well, maybe we'll check it out later, guys.
If I remember right, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, you are crazy. That's true. 140 people are waiting for next 20-minute late stream. Well, that's because he's watching this stream. he needs some advice. He needs some tips. You know, he's struggling out there. So we're watching the intro to my stream. So he's like, okay, this is what I need to do. Taking notes. Okay. Because Nick is struggling over there. Actually, let's play this clip. Let me see. Where is it? I'm spoiling a little bit of what the content's going to be. But even Nick hates his own stream. He's nodding off. He's sleepy, chat. Let's take a look at this. Let's see how it's going on Nick's stream.
Those numbers just come right out, correct? As they're stated. But the blue numbers, they don't come out like the numbers in blue. You have to do something, some calculation, some application.
What's this like sleepy pose? He looks like Winnie the Pooh when he's got some honey on his fingers or some shit and he's like licking them off. What is he doing here?
To get to the blue, correct?
He's dipping in the honey jar and then like sucking on it. Like what? Is he trying to keep his fingers warm? Is that what's happening here?
We're going to keep that up, Mr. Please.
Oh, sleepy Nick. Woke up. Hey, I've fallen asleep on stream too before. I know how bad it is.
Per minute speed values produced by the car?
To be fair, I was drunk when I did it.
Not
Nick's problem is that he's run out of prescription. He's run out of prescription Adderall because he's like, well, I can't get high on my prescription of Adderall. Look, people save it up all week and they do it on one big hit. Okay, I know how this works. I went to college. I never did it myself, but I knew people did this.
here.
Agree.
Oh, he went back to sleepy. He's going back again. He's going for another sleepy. Sweet dreams, Nick.
It doesn't
Wake up, Nick.
necessarily
Can we get some wake up Nicks in the chat?
work that way. I mean, you can have wheel slippage at any acceleration, technically, depending on the roadway.
Nick is currently like 3 weeks into 5 years of this boring trial streaming without alcohol. Okay, trial streaming with alcohol is pretty fun if you do it in moderation. I couldn't do it with that. I couldn't do it in moderation, so we know what happened with me. All right, let's continue with this one.
I remember John.
But like Nick being late is Nick has been late his entire career. How's this surprising? He has no respect or care for his audience. Now, if you're a couple minutes late because you're setting up stream issues or you forgot to plug in a microphone or something, I can understand. But he is consistently late every day. It's a feature now, not a bug. Nick just doesn't care about his audience, and that's why he just leaves and lets his chair do the work while he goes off and lies down and watches another episode of Voyager or some shit with his wife.
Depp testifying about MDMA. I'm pretty sure I remember him testifying about having it in the car with her.
Well, that's funny you should say that because you had cocaine in your car with your daughter that you left her alone with while you were getting searched by the cops. I'm just like Johnny Depp, guys.
Bjorn Jack Sparrow.
Look at that. He's got Johnny Depp right here on the top there.
I know I'm trying to be. I know it doesn't make it okay, but nobody gives a shit.
He's caught. He's caught. He's like, well, Johnny Depp did it. Oh, wait, that doesn't make it okay when a celebrity does something. I know that. I know that.
99% of the time, especially when the kids are okay.
This is true. I don't give a shit if people do drugs anytime. Even if you destroy your entire life with drugs, it doesn't matter to me. When you're a parent, when you have responsibilities, you have a higher threshold for having fun and going and partying and things like that. And yeah, if you got away with it, it would have been fine probably because nobody would be able to talk about it. But that's the thing. They were not fine. Daughter was tested with 10 times the cutoff limit that is yet to be explained. And they were taken away for 77 days because you're irresponsible as a parent. The government, I don't like the government. I don't like it. I want the government to get out, don't step on me. I agree with all that shit. But the government, unironically, probably saved Nick's life and maybe saved the life of his entire family because Nick looked like he was on death's door on that last Coke stream. Like, do you think he would have made it? Now, apparently some people have, like I said, if you're in Minnesota, you can go and see the body cam. Some people have allegedly sent photos to Sean. Now, he has not shared them with me. He's not shared them with anyone. And he's not going to because he received them in confidence. And I can respect that. If I receive things in confidence, I don't talk about them either. Although sometimes I hint at them. But it's bad. From all of the reports that have seen it, 3 people have written reports about it already. It's bad. That's why he's so desperate to keep this from being out in the public.
And I don't know how else to tell you guys. My kids are just fine because it wasn't actually some sort of exposure. My daughter did not do cocaine. To think that
nobody thinks that she's up in her room doing lines, okay? This is just another one of Nick's deflections.
Sat around doing cocaine is literally fucking crazy. Like
Is it crazier than the daughter actually testing positive for cocaine though? Is it crazier than having the police bust down your front door and catching your wife in a bathrobe with the other woman filling up her cocaine vial because she can't go even a morning without cocaine? Is it as crazy as having them taken away for 77 days? Is that how crazy it is? How crazy is it?
Nuts. And to think that the county would not pick up on that.
People get away with things all the time. People game the system all the time. People get evidence thrown out all the time for fruit of the fallen poisonous tree or improper procedure. This happens all the time. That does not mean that someone's innocent. Now, yes, you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This is not a court of law. This is a court of public opinion, and you're guilty as a negligent, abusive father in our eyes.
And would have no problem returning our children to us. They were back in our care in 2 months. I mean,
it was 77 days. I'm pretty sure the average is like 45 days, but I don't know.
Our case is closed in 6. They were back in our care in 2.
And you've got probation for 5 years.
This is not a case where the county had any
I don't have the written reports, so I'll just say that right now. Josh Moon has the written reports. I do not.
thought
He might
that
release them
our
tonight on
children
his
were
show on Matthew, though.
ingesting drugs in any way.
Now, Nick has talked about the medicinal benefits of drugs. This was released by his bro Camelot. So there's a theory that he was dosing his child because he was trying to use it as a home therapy for ADHD or something. Again, this is just a theory that's been put forth. There's no evidence of that. But the question of how did the daughter test positive has yet to be explained. And more interestingly to me is why did Nick not petition his lawyer for a retest or a private test so that they had an independent third party to verify she was clean? He also could have done this after he got his daughter back. These tests are allegedly valid up to 90 days. And they're really good tests. Like people say like, oh, it's 1 in 5 is wrong. But all of Nick's tests were right, of course, this entire time. He's been tested hundreds of times and they've all been clean allegedly. So whenever his children are getting tested, the error rate is 1 in 5. Whenever he's being tested, it's 100% accuracy. He didn't get a test after that. I think I would do that just for my own peace of mind. But again, you can't really try and rationalize Nick's brain because he's an irrational person. It's like his head is full of holes at this point. So like you can go around in circles trying to figure out Nick's logic. It just doesn't make sense. That's why he says crazy things like rapping with a vibrator, or it's like a cop at Denny's, or it's like a cart wagon full of Canadians. It's because the holes in his brain just everything's just bleeding out. It doesn't make any sense.
So if that's your hang up, good news. You can even think that it happened. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter what path you choose. Just know my kids are really healthy, and that's great. That's what everybody should be fucking happy about.
I mean, that's good though. Like, I'm happy to hear that, by the way, if that is true. But it seems like they're healthy in spite of your behavior of the last 2 years, not because of. Now, you may have done a good job being a father for those previous years, previous 15 years. The last 2 are where you almost fucked everything up.
That my decisions didn't turn out worse for them is good. I don't know why everybody wants it to be worse than it was.
Nobody wants it to be worse than it was. We want to see what it's like and then make your own judgments or perhaps laugh at you. Nobody's like, oh, I wish this could get... No, that's not the case. That's not the case whatsoever. Also, interesting chat from potentially criminal. He says, remember, Nick is so stupid. He failed a drug test he scheduled in advance. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. Like, how do you come back from that? Walter Mellon says, is the kid that stayed with the said the nanny is the kid that said the nanny got into the alcohol the same as the one that tested positive? I don't believe so. I think it's the older one, but I'm not sure. Bob Tube says narcolepsy, hypoxia, ADHD, ED, he has it all. Yeah, he's collecting the entire rainbow and the entire alphabet of diseases. All right. So Nick's saying, well, Johnny Depp did it, so it was okay. Just remind you of the narcissist prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, it's not a big deal. And if it is, then it's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. And then we can see there, this is, we're kind of preparing ourselves. The question is, do you think House looks better or worse than this? I like the ball. I just noticed the bulldog was in here. I didn't actually see it before. Also, we got to save that doggo. Yes. We hit the goal, chat. We hit the goal, which means that we're funding Sunny Team 6 to go in and send the rescue party, or at least bring our puppy back so we can get a hero's funeral. We haven't seen Sunny in I think 6 months, and I've got my concerns. But you can do hashtags free Sunny or save Sunny or SS for short in the chat if you want to. All right. So this brings us to the events of his stream yesterday. Now, this was a bad stream, boys. As you can see, he deleted it. He made $25 in super chats. That's rough. That's rough. And he peaked at 985 viewers. Now, Nick tried to delete and hide the evidence, but I believe I have a copy of it here. On Rumble, he privated on YouTube. You can see here, he was in the stream for, I believe, looks like 20 minutes. Okay, so here he is, 19 minutes into the stream. He's sitting there. He's bored. Nobody's having fun. He disappears.
Of course, we showed.
Oh, wait, no, he came back there. Sorry.
And the
all right, so he disappears at 40 minutes. And then he just he chair streams. He chair streams for another hour. It's a solid hour of just looking at this fan and chair streaming. And somehow this social media expert is confused about how his channel's not doing well. Well, I don't get it. Do I end the stream? Do I just come back later? No, I'll just leave the fan playing with a chair for an hour and a half. That's what YouTube loves. YouTube loves that ASMR fan content. You can't even hear the fan going ching, 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 or something. That's what I hear every day because I live in Japan. Moving on. That's what the stream was, but he deleted it out of embarrassment. Now, this may be the moment that I think he left the stream actually. And some people were suggesting that this was because of the body cam, which we're about to get into, the body cam information. So that's what he said. Hey guys, this is what he comes back from the chair babysitting for a while.
A few of you who are still here, I heard court has ended early. Sorry, I got some like shitty news.
And like it sounds like he did have someone in the family who's got like a bad disease or someone he respects got like, you know, bad health information. And I'm sorry to hear that, honestly. But here's the thing. Most people aren't allowed to go home or just leave their jobs when they're sad. Okay. You know, if it's a family emergency and you have to rush to the hospital, that's excusable. If you're sad, you can't ring up the boss and say, hey, I can't work at McDonald's today. I'm sad. Hey, I can't drive the forklift today. I'm sad. Hey, I know you're expecting me to deliver that human organ, but today I'm sad. Most people don't have these allowances, but he's sad. So he gets to just show a chair to his audience that he cares nothing about for an hour and a half. He's got the sads.
So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. We'll do the super chats and stuff real quick.
Yeah, that'll be quick.
And wrap up the show. And then I'll try and do something a little bit later. Blitzen says, going back to people's favorite inhalants, you can buy mimeograph scented candles.
Put this one a bit faster.
James Gardner.
These are the funny. These are the super funny super chats that Nick's. You can only get at Nick's channel. This is what you're missing by watching my stream.
McFadden, Cave Johnson, here for Aperture Science. Chariots. This doctor doesn't represent science. Kurt has a micropene. That puts us at 2 in the micropene counter. But I'm not gonna. I'm just taking it down for now. Jeannie DB says, thanks for letting us be here, even though you're not. Sorry. Unexpectedly had to drive a kid to a class. And then, like I said, I got some not the most fun news.
Hickory dickory dock. Just kidding. Kurt has a micropene.
That's hilarious.
At least
Your
that's funny.
Honor, Dr. Welcher thought the adjustable height of the Lexus was a micropene. The evidence will show it was not. It was.
This is a good point, though. Even if Kurt has a micropene, which I don't think that he does, but even if he does, at least his fucking works.
Just a sub-average peen.
It's also in mint condition. Sorry.
The Commonwealth rests.
Sorry, Kurt.
That means
Sorry,
they're done
Kurt.
presenting evidence for Kurt's micropene. Now it is Kurt's turn to present an alternative theory to classify his members as other than micro.
All right. Yeah. So sorry for the short day and the weirdness going on and being gone for most of it. Everything's stupid, and I will. I'll be back hopefully just a little bit later today when I get things kind of organized and settled down. Talk to you then. Sorry, guys. Peace. Peace.
All right. So he quit this stream. He disabled this. He tried to hide it, but I got the data before he could get away with it. Now, he said he had to run away and could go do important things. But after the stream ended, he was seething on Twitter for another hour or something, where he's just talking about people. Let's see what he's saying about people. He's saying insane people. Go fuck yourself. No, they aren't. It's up on Rumble. I guess he's talking about this. But I wasn't there for like 20 minutes. It was like an hour. So he went to Seethe. He was so busy, he had to go Seethe to Twitter. Now, this is when the information for the body cam started to come up. It was uploaded to the Minnesota records. Not Minnesota public records, but the actual court or police, wherever they are. It's like MNPR or something like that. That was uploaded. Now, during the day, this we'll get into this in a second, I believe. Well, actually, no, that's not true. It'll be in a couple of minutes. Where is it? Where's my docos? Where's my docos? Here they are. So this was uploaded to the state of Minnesota. And this is a motion, notice of motion, and motion to correct court records. So this is the government trying to hide the body cam footage. Now, after this came out, Nick came back. So this was his big stream with 1,000 viewers. Amazing stuff. He came back and did emergency live stream because he had to gloat. He seemed like he was in such good, happy position. They decided that at 1 a.m. he had to gloat. Unfortunately, for his emergency live stream, only 500 people showed up. The majority of the time was 490. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at this, shall we? Emergency stream. Less than 500 people on deck. Less than 500 people on deck. Let's see. Let's see. What is this? An hour in, and only 570 people were watching. It's really funny. Like, I think like one of the things that's wrong with Nick's hand is that Nick's hand is literally like a monkey's paw, and he wishes Eric July gets $1 million. He does. He wishes he's like yelling at me and saying I've got 500 viewers. Now he's at 500 viewers. It's very funny. I'm starting to believe in karma. Like, girl bros in chat, can you confirm that karma is indeed real? And this is what I'm saying, because there's no other way to explain this. So he did this emergency stream where he gloated and he tried to rewatch the trial day. It was very bad, and he peaked out for about 30 minutes at about 671 subscribers. So it was a bad time. It was a bad time. And as you can see right here, let's see. Peak my kids as Nick Rekieta abandons his stream and is caught in the chat during his absence. So he was not even in his chair, but he was still talking in chat. Let's see what he was saying. Let me see. He's not even present on his own stream right now while he's getting a good, while the getting is good. What are you talking about? Sorry, I have a family. I'll be back. Go watch someone else. Go watch somebody else. Sorry. Oh, wait, I'll reply this one actually. I don't want to watch anyone else. Oh, look at that. You got a loyal Baldo watcher here. I don't want to watch anyone else. You're off your game entirely. Consider me the market speaking directly to you. So people are literally telling him, look, you're doing a bad job. This is what you need to fix it. And he's like, sorry. I guess I could have stopped the stream and restarted it. Yes. Yes, you can. Watch time duration, click-through rate, audience retention, engagement is so key in YouTube. But I don't know about that because my stream can't get over 500 viewers. So when you have these dead air streams, it's absolutely sending murder signals to your channel. And Nick is trying to say that like he's getting shadow banned or some shit. And I actually have some evidence here. Let me see where do I keep this? Come on now. Tabs, don't fail me now. It's got to be around here somewhere. It's got to be around here somewhere. Give me one more second. I know it's here. And I'm dropping the ball. I'm dropping the ball, chat. All right. I know I've got a copy of this. I must have closed that tab, but I've got a copy of it in my records. So Nick is trying to say that his channel's being like shadow banned or some shit like that. Here it is. Here it is. But this is not the case because it's literally being featured by YouTube. YouTube is actually trying to help him. This is a reoccurring thing in Nick's life, is that everybody's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Everybody's trying to help him. He says the government's against him, but actually they're working in his favor. He says that YouTube's against him. They're literally featuring his stream. Because I took this screenshot and other people have took this similar screenshot. YouTube is actually featuring his content, but people are either clicking on and clicking off because they don't want to hear about the Kurt Seethe sessions, or he's just not there. So they're like, well, I'm not going to watch this. I'm going to watch someone that's actually talking and cares about their audience. Or he just turns them off with his creepy, ghoulish appearance. So he's got every opportunity in the world, and he's just throwing them away. It's really sad to see. That's the sleepy one. All right. Oh, I did have it. It was right there. Okay. All right. Now let's get into the creepy hands, and also, wow, 1,300 people in chat. Let me just have a quick. Let's have a quick chat audit, shall we? What is this? 400 people. Well, that's actually usually 400 is good. I'm going to play it one more time. This is the last time I'll ask. Okay, chat. Especially if you're watching on replay.
Hit like if you like the show. If you don't like the show, don't hit like or hit thumbs down. Be like, this guy sucks. I don't mind. But if you do like the show, hit that like button. It really does. I got to remind YouTube that I'm here. They are not distributing things out.
Alrighty. Now, I thought this had to be photoshopped when I saw this. Like, obviously, the red ears, the red nose. I've seen that before. But like, this is like, okay, this is a little bit weird, chat. And I was like, well, that's weird, but it's not necessarily indicative of anything. But it gets worse. Like, look at this. Are you seeing this? What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you okay? I don't feel like, unironically, I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so good, Baldo Bros. Like, I was like, what the fuck when I saw this? Now, apparently this is called hypoxia or cyanosis, blue fingernails due to lack of oxygen in the blood. And it gets worse. Like, it gets really bad. I thought this had to be photoshopped. I was like, there's no way this is true. But it's actually in Nick's channel. If you go to his channel, he's doing recap videos. By the way, this is a good idea. And I suggested this, by the way. They're doing these recap videos like Kurt is doing. Is a great way to get new audience members. So he uploads, he does his streams, and he does the recap videos. That's a great move. That's why Legal Mindset does it. But in this video, so Karen Reed, day 22 thing, you can actually see his fingers live on. I thought this wasn't true. I had to go verify it myself. Like, some of these are really spooky too. Like, what the fuck? He's like actually ghoulish in some, like, I think the one part here is like really bad. And of course, some of this is going to be lighting, but when he brings his hands into the light, you can actually see the fingernails. It's like terrifying. Now, people saw this. Now, what do we think's happening here? Is he a lich? Was his ego his phylactery and Keanu destroyed it and now he's dying? I just don't know. Is Nick actually like a secret hero? Is he out there like secretly destroying Horcruxes or something? Because this is when I saw this, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Is he getting some sort of magical curse? This is actually a picture from Nick's hand from the secondary camera. Okay, you have not seen this anywhere else. This is a very real, very serious issue right here. It's just cold. Maybe. It's really like, here it is. So AF Streamwatch says, is this real? I refuse to believe this is real. And this is a post by Third World Aristocrat who got a really good screen cap. It says, I'm late as hell to this thread move so fast and I have shit to do. What were his fingernails this blue before? I remember noticing his fingertips turning a bit bluish, but never his finger nails. Look at this. Look at this. I thought this had to be like someone removing the saturation in Photoshop. Like, there's no way. Right? There's no way. Like, look at this, because like when you push down on the fingers, you can see they go red a little bit, but then the colorless is still here. Now, this did fix itself after a few days, so hopefully it's not permanent. Although it looks like the brain damage is irredeemable. Now, oh, hold on, I got a couple of chats I got to go through as well. All right, let's see. Scabro says, no one believes you about your kids, Nick. That's a concern. You're a proven liar, deflector, and dissembler. Yes, very true. Charlie with 500 yen says, if Nick humbles himself and writes you an apologetic haiku, would you be open to giving him tips on how to be a better streamer? Maybe. Actually, no, I don't really want to help him at all. But I don't want to see him. I don't want to see any harm to him. Like, I mean, apart from getting what is deserved to him in justice, right? Like some people are saying like Nick shouldn't have a show. I don't believe that. He should just get to work and be boring, so no one will have anything to talk about. Dick Jones with a 5 memberships, thank you very much, gifted. And the Dragon's Treasure, which means we have to play the Dragon's Treasure ad. I keep forgetting to do it because I'm so disorganized. I need like a stream deck or something. There we go. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to beat my best month of sales from the Rittenhouse trial, finally removing the last Rekieta bit from me. Thanks largely to VTubers. Use code COPE to make it happen. Yes, that is true. If you go to the Dragon's Treasure, an haven for anime and tea lovers, use code COPE. You'll get a discount. Thank you, Base T-Man, a man that put his own morals ahead of his business, unlike Nick Rekieta. The Dragon's Treasure is the #1 name in integrity. He also tells Troons to go buy rope and stuff, which is pretty based. There's a post from that weird thing a couple of days ago with the Kershaw stuff where it's like, why is an anime team tea shop telling me to off myself? That was very funny. I like saying that. Bob Tube says the black fingers are proof he's still with April. Oh no. If they were orange, that would make sense. From that dirty water. Now, wait, I gotta play the. Where's the quote from Legal Mindset? Did I have this? Hold on a second. So Legal Mindset actually commented on this, what this issue could be. And I believe actually Legal Mindset talked to me about this before. Because apparently whippets are pretty popular in Florida. And Legal Mindset actually knew some people that would go through this. So in response to this, give me a second. Here it is. So legal mindset, more like medical mindset, says it's hypoxia, very clear sign of long-term abuse of nitrous. I mean, so literally, this is what happens when he argued with Keanu. Is that Keanu did such a beat down on him? He had to do so many whippets that he gave himself hypoxia. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's just cold? Is it just the cold? Do you think it's just the cold? tell me he's a cold boy with 1, and it's nitrous NO2 abuse with 1. Like, I fingers have been cold before. They've never looked like this. I've had blue fingers before, but it's not like that. This is some weird shit. I don't know. I don't know. All right. This gets us into today. This gets us into the body cam segment, which I know that people are really wanting to see. Okay. So, Josh Moon posted on the Kiwi Farms after Nick had his emergency cancellation of the stream. He had a phone call. People like saying, what's going on? Josh started posting on the Kiwi Farms, and he may talk about this tonight on his show, Mad at the Internet, which I think it comes on in a couple of hours. Sorry, I apologize for that. So maybe you should go watch his show after mine. But he says, Candy Ojai was ordered by a judge to release the footage, and now they're in damage control. The sheriff outright said he does not intend to comply with the judge's order until a big local law firm sent him a letter, and they have the clout in the state to actually intimidate. We then asked the Department of Administration to rule, and they also issued an opinion that the sheriff should comply. He said he would decide what to do on the 2nd, and I believe that is Monday, right? Is Monday the 2nd? Yes, it is. So he's going to think about it over the weekend. Now the prosecutor is jumping in to help. Seems like the county conspiracy does exist, but not to hurt that poor little crackhead. Interesting. Now, Nick responded to this while he was supposed to be working or driving or sleeping or something. He says, see, his temper tantrum has started. Where have I been screaming, Josh? Can we think of any moments where Nick might have been screaming, chat? Do we have any memories of that, or has that been memory hold already? Has Nick ever screamed at somebody? Also, where in the Constitution does it say, do you find Null has a right to jerk off while looking at Nick's children? This is the cope, is that they say that people want to see the body cam because they want to have a look at his kids. This is not true. Nick does a pretty good job of showing his own kids on his own stream because they're coming in to ask him for homework and open SpaghettiOs and stuff at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm not sure why his kids are up at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. They should probably go to fucking bed. I mean, kids stay up past midnight, yes, but you tell them to go to bed and they have to stay in their room and do stuff. Okay, not coming down at 2 a.m. on a Thursday to ask daddy for help. That's a bit weird. Lack of discipline in that house, I imagine. But no, this is a complete cope that he's trying to use to poison the well, right? Because the thing is, the county will not release the body cam until they go through and censor all of the minors in the video. That's why the money for the body cam was collected. Nobody wants to see the kids. They want to see the state of the house. They want to see the cocaine lying out on the table. They want to see the big collection of dildos because it's funny. They want to see people laughing at you. The cops saying like, well, I couldn't believe you let this house go to disrepair. They want to see if the conditions were actually bad. And Nick knows that if it comes out, it's going to be bad. So he can't let people have it. So the battle for the body cam has very well truly begun. Let me see. So Father Baldo said, lol, I always knew that body cam footage would never come out and you people kept getting your hopes up. Several posts in here were already made to sound like it was going to be a sure thing when it clearly was most likely not going to happen based on the wording of the law. Tons of Kiwis screaming at the sky and counting their chickens before they hatched, though. I mean, to be fair, Josh did kind of make it sound like he had it already. Add that to the pile of 6 grillion pages by Minnesota Public Records, still has, and whatever other clout-chasing garbage, potentially criminal, and meme copium claimed exists. Rackets 1. I will admit that I thought it was coming out sooner. 2 more weeks, trust the plan, all that. Josh did make it sound like he had it already, or that they were going to go pick something up. So I was a little bit disappointed to see this. Now, the Minnesota Public Records thing is confusing to me because I did hear that they had 70 pages that were not being released. It may be that Nick had intimidated them or located their identity and got them to shut down. I don't know. I have not talked to Minnesota Public Records. Allegedly, Sean has, and Sean said that there was 70 pages that has not been released. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I wish they were released sooner, obviously. Null replies to this message saying, it's too late. Even if he successfully squashed the evidence, I already have 3 independent written accounts of the video. So like I said, if you were in Minnesota, you can go to the, I guess, Spicer courthouse and watch this. You can't record it, but you can take notes and you can see it in the courthouse, at least for now, because apparently things are changing in the courtroom. Oh yeah, Nick has never been mad or screaming. I had that picture there. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's get into the actual document. Now, this is an interesting one. This is by the state of Minnesota, county of Candy Ojai, District Court 8th Judicial District, and this is the state of Minnesota as the plaintiff versus Nicholas Rekieta, and it is a motion by the prosecutor, which is peculiar. To the Honourable Judge and above named defendant and defendant's attorney, notice of a motion. Please be advised that the state of Minnesota brings the following motion. The state of Minnesota moves the court as follows: for an order or any other such action as deems necessary to correct court records to properly reflect that the 2 body cams were never offered or received as exhibits at the omnibus hearing. Now, why is this important? Basically, the way this works is that when body cam comes out, it's confidential / private while it's part of the proceedings. When it's admitted to evidence, that's when it becomes public. Now, it may not be viewable during the actual trial if it's a closed court, but after the trial, all the evidence is reviewable because America has an open court system. And as Nick has said, it's important to have body cams to be able to audit and make sure that the government is not doing any shenanigans, which he has actually claimed the government has stolen his property in the form of a cocaine bullet and 2 grams of coke that were not entered into evidence. So if the body cam was admitted as evidence, it would now be available to the public as per the law. Now, what their argument is that it was never properly introduced as evidence, therefore it should not be available. Now, this is an interesting argument, and if they succeed with it, it would prevent the body cam from being shown, unless someone who is a subject of the body cam, such as April, Kayla, Nick, or the police officers, decided to release it themselves, which they could at any time. If somebody could contact April and bribe her with the $6,000, she could absolutely release the portion of the body cam that includes her, but not the body cam that includes Nick being arrested, which is I kind of want to see that one more, to be honest, because it sounds really funny when he gets arrested and he says he's like a big man, like tough to the cops and stuff. I want to see what he actually said. The argument: the state is requesting, which has the support of Francis White, that is Nick's attorney of the Nick Rekieta, for the court to correct records to properly indicate that the 2 body cams were neither offered nor received as exhibits at the omnibus hearing held in the matter. Now, they were admitted as evidence, but I guess the argument here is that because he pled guilty, it never went to trial, it should not be considered as evidence. And it's an interesting argument. I don't think it'll be successful, but we'll have to wait and see. The import of the issue is significant under the Minnesota statute 13.82, subdivision 7. Any investigative data presented as evidence in a court shall be public. This is the argument that Null is making. And when me and Legal Mindset went through this, we actually concluded that the body cam would be private until the conclusion of the trial, at which point it would be made public. And as this is the prosecutor is saying this themselves, any investigative data presented as evidence to the court shall, and remember, shall is compelling words in the law, which means it has to. It's not like may or could be. Shall mean will be public. So the body cam public, if the body cam is evidence, then it is public. It is public, and not showing it is unconstitutional. But they're arguing that it was never actually technically added as evidence, which it was. I mean, it was. So that's like this is the technicality that they're trying to do. Now, it's very strange. Why is the prosecutor working together with Nick in this way? Like, this is a very strange thing for them. Why are they coming to bat on this day? Because this was on the 29th. That was like yesterday. Why are they going to bat for Nick? I have attached with this motion a copy of the omnibus hearing transcript and the court's subsequent omnibus order. Prior to the omnibus hearing, certain items were uploaded onto MNDES for potential use. So that is the court record system. At the hearing, however, when the court and the parties were discussing the relevant issues, Mr. White indicated to the court that it could get rid of, well, he indicated, that doesn't mean that he could or he would, indicate to get rid of the 2 body cam videos as the state had conceded on a particular issue. Mr. White indicated the evidence wouldn't be relevant on the remaining issues. Use of the word get rid of is a clear indication that the body cams were never offered as evidence. Well, Mr. White wasn't presenting the evidence. Mr. White indicated to the court that it could. So that means they could have chosen to do this, but they did not, as I understand it. If they had said that, then that might be an argument. But my understanding is they did not. The state was offering that evidence because the state is the one that had the evidence. Mr. White indicated that the evidence wouldn't be relevant on the remaining issues. Using the words get rid of is a clear indication to the body cam were never offered as evidence. This is further demonstrated as conversation followed on the other exhibits. The transcripts show conversation on the Steel Toe morning show. Oh my goodness. Is this another fucking win for the toe?
You can't keep getting away with it! He can't keep getting away with it! He won't.
Is this just an ad? Is this actually another win for the toe? This is like actual advertisement. The transcripts shown conversation on the Steel Toe morning show, the application for the search warrant exhibit 1, the HHS letter, sorry. This isn't the Kanye song. Letter exhibit 5, and a PowerPoint presentation the Nick Rekieta video, PowerPoint, Exhibit 2, a screenshot from the stream, Rekieta PNG, Exhibit 4, and Deputy Pomplum Supplemental 1 Report, Exhibit 3. This is further supported by the evidence of the court's own omnibus order. The court's order and pages 1 and 2 indicate clearly that the exhibits were presented. There are 4 items that are media type exhibits. Those are 2 exhibits, 2, 4, 6, and 10, with Exhibit 6, which was clearly identified on as a stream video, which was not a body cam, and 10 was identified as Nick Rekieta's stream. Exhibits 2 and 4 are identified within the omnibus transcripts as a PowerPoint presentation and Rekieta video. Clearly, if the body cams had been presented and received as evidence at the omnibus hearing, the court's own omnibus order would have indicated so as to indicate the other exhibits were received. The state requests, with the support of defense counsel, that the court correct its own records to indicate that the 2 body cams were never offered or received as evidence. And this is signed by Shane D. Baker, Candioti County Attorney. This is very peculiar. I don't understand why the state would bring this. Why is the prosecutor working with Rekieta on this matter? Why is Francis White this is a genuine question. Why are they doing this? What is their incentive to be doing so? Now, the Rekieta family does have a lot of money, and they are very charitable with this money. They donated an entire hospital wing, I believe, in Texas somewhere. And Nick does frequent, well, he calls them donations to charity, but I think he's just using his parents' money to buy art as a tax write-off. That would be my theory there. So some people have suggested that they want this body cam removed because it may affect the donations going forward to the county, or perhaps implied or basically bribed. Did they bribe the government is the question. Why is the government colluding to support Nick? Nobody knows. Now, I think that in my mind, the reason this might come up is that maybe Nick agreed to plead to plead guilty. But he asked the prosecutor, please, I will plead guilty, but you cannot show the body cam. You've got to drop the child endangerment, and you can't show the body cam, because he had to try and win in the public eye. The idea that he was not an abusive father, that neglected his children. Neglect is abuse, amongst other things, like having your children test positive for cocaine. So was that a requirement of Nick pleading guilty, but it was never added into, like, was it just like a handshake agreement, and then the prosecutor never actually did it, and now they're having to correct the record, essentially? Because that's what they're literally asking here. They're asking for the state to correct the record, thus making it inadmissible as evidence and therefore private and confidential again. This will be interesting to see, but the battle for the body cam is definitely heated up. Now, Null has several lawyers that are going to be suing the government for this, as he states that they're basically working for free because Nick has pissed off so many people, and it's kind of an interesting issue as well. No body cams with bad press, perhaps. Maybe they just don't want to see what they don't want to give bad press for their own. They could be hiding their mistakes. If they are trying to hide their mistakes about the drug evidence going missing, or that the cops laughing about his dildo collection, because Nick literally said that the cops found his dildo collection and they didn't laugh hard enough at it. So we got to see the BBC dildos that he's got or whatever, because the cops were laughing at the state of his house. In Nick's own words, he said this on his stream, but apparently they weren't laughing at the funny stuff like the dildos. So maybe the state doesn't want to show their handling of the situation. It's an ongoing question. Nick decided to do. Nick has been seething on Twitter for a while as well, saying this is in regards to Josh Ramone. He's a maladjusted toddler whose ice cream has perpetually fallen on the sidewalk. The body cam is going to be released soon, isn't it? Lol. Josh promised you all 2 weeks, or he'd throw it. This is funny, by the way. I'll read this and then I'll talk about it. He promised you all 2 weeks, or he'd throw a tantrum. So, well, I guess we'll see. Is there a public interest served by the release of the body cam? I assume these pervs want to see your kids in your house. They're not a reasonable one. So he admits that there's a public interest, but not a reasonable one. No, it is a public reasonable interest, because Nick has said things about the court and about the cops that were lies. He said that he implied there was a conspiracy. He said they stole his property. So it's something that the public wants to see. Now, this is very funny. Josh promised you all 2 weeks. He's so wet-brained. He's so knocked out his mind that he thinks the meme 2 more weeks is an actual promise. When I saw this, I just giggled. Unfortunately, I have to go to his Twitter page manually now because he blocked me. But it's 2 more weeks. Trust the plan. It's going to happen, chat. Okay. All right. We don't need this. Don't need that. We'll keep those open for now. We have more information, though. There's another looks like we have a new challenger. Montegraph is back, and he has some news for everybody. Let's see what Monty has to say.
Update on my case. As a lot of you know, I filed a defamation case against another individual online for defamation of character. And I had asked the public to assist me with an appeal, in which you came through. And I appreciate that. And because you came through, that appeal was won, and it was successful. So now we're going for the main stretch. I wanted to say right out the gate that Dave Schneider is a fantastic attorney, and he'll always be a fantastic attorney. And it was my choice to switch gears. And the reason why.
So the Schneider attorney was the guy that was prosecuting the, well, I guess, bringing the court case against Montegraph in the defamation. So Nick Rekieta has defamed Montegraph, and he beat Montegraph beat the appeal, and it's currently in discovery. Now, my understanding was that discovery was going to last until December, but it seems like it is going to actually be the court date is starting in December. But David Schneider, Nick says that David Schneider hates him because he came to his office wearing shorts. So Nick went to the office to drop off some documents and was wearing shorts. So David Schneider is so mad that Nick would dare to wear shorts in his presence that he thinks that he has like a blood feud against him. Now, Montegraph has changed lawyers to a familiar face. And let's see what he says.
Did that is because Mr. Matthew Harden has experience in social media and online types of things.
Now, Matthew Harding, I believe, was recommended to Null by Nick Rekieta, and Matthew Harding is Null's lawyer in many cases. So Matthew Harding is now joining the fight against Nick Rekieta in the Montegraph case. Let's fucking go. Yes. Indiana Joestar says, is he trying to delay the release until he shrivels up and expires like a little hypoxic raisin? Perhaps. And I think this is a good strategy for Nick, honestly. Like, if he can keep this going long enough that people stop caring about it, then there may be a small victory in his own mind. Like, if he could at least come back and get like a following before it's released, he would have like his locked in his like his strongest Baldo guards. I'm not sure if that's working though. Let's has he started streaming it tonight? He's streaming now to under 1,000 people, 840 people. We need to give him some advice. Should we stream rate him after this? Should we stream rate him, chat? Give him a little bit of support, send him a bit of energy. Looks like he has started streaming. Is he beating Kurt today? I'm kind of curious. So Kurt has currently got 600. So he's just beating Kurt. So maybe we should send our energy to Kurt after this. But I think, yeah, delay like one more day. It's kind of like that. What is it? That movie AI, where it's like maybe that one day will last forever. I think that's what Nick's. He's only living for the moment. Okay, he has no temporal presence or whatever he said of Aaron. He's just living in the moment. Also, Viper, welcome to member status. Thank you very much. All right, let's continue to hear what Montegraph says.
So it is my choice to switch those gears and try our very best to get into the courtroom and have my day in court. So what I'm asking is, all right, well, hold on a second.
Before we hear Monty's ask, I'll try not to interrupt. Bumpy Johnson says, I just visited the Rekieta stream. He is seething in silence. So Nick actually watches other people's streams and goes on Twitter during his own stream. And you can see this in the reports on the Kiwi Farms after his thing. They've got a Twitter count versus his Super Chat count. He literally listens to Melton's, Steel Toes, and I should probably listen to mine right now, honestly, since I'm talking about him. And he can't not look at stuff that's about him. He has those like earpieces. He literally listens to other people's streams, and then he comments on his phone while the streams are going on. You can see this happen in real time, because when he made his funny funny jokes about me, I knew he was streaming, and I went to see it, and I could see the moment he actually was typing in the tweets. That's why his coverage is dog shit. Is because so say hi Nick to chat. Everyone in chat say hi to Nick because he's watching right now. He making him seethe. Look at all these juicy super chats I'm getting, Nick. You're jealous? You remember the good old days? You can't have that anymore. But he literally does that. That's why his opinions on this Karen Reed trial are garbage. And I think he just watches recaps from other lawyers. As he literally does that for Kurt's videos. I saw one of his streams, and he was watching a Kurt cooking video. So we can see all the highs in the chat. There we go. We've got Yellow Flash saying Father of the Year. No, he's Father of the Universe, right? He's got the Star Trek cup. All right, let's listen to Monty's plea.
I'm sure there's probably 5,000 people somewhere in the world that has known me since I've been on YouTube for 19 years this year, July 4th of 2025. And if 5,000 people would afford me $17 each, I would be able to reach my goal.
Can we hit it? So this is the plea that Montegraph has got to GoFundMe. Now that's a big ask, honestly. Like asking 5,000 people to donate $17 each is a big fucking ask. Although since this has happened, I believe that Monty's gone up $4,000 because originally I believe he asked for $12,000. He's now up to $16,000 of his $100,000 goal, which is 17%. We'll be watching this with interest. He says, update, I have chosen to switch gears and hire a new attorney, Matthew Harding. Mr. Harding is astute in social media and online affairs. I'm confident with Mr. Harding's amazing skills. With the community support, we will emerge victorious. So if you want to go donate to Montegraph, you can. That's the GoFundMe Justice for All. It's also linked on Alyssa Clip's channel. Also, apparently Alyssa Clips just got banned for 1 week. So we'll talk about that at the end of the stream.
It's going to be quite expensive to get there. And like I said, I'm worth a popsicle stick and a shoestring. But it doesn't matter. My reputation means a lot to me. And anybody else in my predicament, I would hope that you would do the same. So I'm asking on all of my allies, my friends, and for the people that have supported the Monograph channel and myself to think about it at least. And again, I'm looking for 5,000 people to afford me $70 each to get me my day in court. I'm monographed, and if you can't speak freely, you're simply not free. Thank you.
Very true. Very true. All right, let's see. So Montegraph put some motions to the court. This is just a notice of appearance, I believe. But they've also asked for an extension. So the good parts of this document are now comes the plaintiff and by the undersigned counsel. This is in the Steve Quest, which is Montegraph versus Rekieta. Motion of the plaintiff as follows. Undersigned counsel was retained by the plaintiff on May 26 as filed with the appearance of the court. That is former counsel David Schneider lodged this on the same day via electric means. Currently, the scheduling order imposes several near-term deadlines, specifically motions for adjoinder of parties due June 30th, motion to amend pleadings June 30th, discovery to be compelled by August 7th, plaintiff expert disclosures are due June 7th, both depositive and non-depositive motions are due September 3rd. And basically what they're doing is that they're just noticing that Matthew Harding is now on the case, and also they have made a request. The defense, through its counsel, Mr. Mark Rendaza, has graciously agreed to this to stipulate that the deadlines in the scheduling order should be extended by 120 days, which is pretty normal. You got a new guy coming on, you want some time to kind of get together and stuff, and you know, review the information and get. You don't want to like feel like you're like cramming for an exam like the night before. Like Nick will be doing next month when he has to do his community service before he runs out of time. The parties mutually agreed to a 60-day deadline provided by the Minnesota statutes. The plaintiff appreciates the defense's cooperation and respectively submits that the defense consent is evidence that no party will be prejudiced if this motion is granted. So basically, this should almost certainly be granted. And that will extend, let's see, the scheduling order in this matter is extended by 120 days, and the jury trial is currently set to begin on December 9th. Be vacated to accommodate new deadlines. Additionally, plaintiff requests that a telephonic scheduling conference be held in the matter so that the jury trial can be reset on a date that is convenient for all parties. So basically, it might be delayed a bit. We've got Matthew Harding on the case now. Very neat. Very cool. All right. So we got... oh, wait. Did I miss this one? Okay. Sorry, I missed this one. All right. I should have played this clip earlier. This is Nick's bad day. This is from his follow-up stream where he failed to get more than 700 viewers. Although I will say one other thing is that Gabe Hoffman, who I don't know very much about, but I understand that he's like a trust fund manager who's personally A-logs Ethan Ralph. He says, I plan to credibly report upon previously undisclosed serious criminal allegations against Nick Rekieta. Stay tuned. Now, I don't know what this is about, but very interesting to see. And I guess with Jews, you win. He now has Israel coming after him. Like literally all I know about Gabe Hoffman is apparently he's rich. He directed or produced I think it was a California child trafficking documentary or something. And now he's coming after Nick, which is very interesting, but not much additional details here. All right, so this is the last clip I think we'll go through tonight. Then we'll have Nick's words of wisdom, which is pretty cringe. Nick wants you to know that the world of men is missing integrity. Pretty good stuff there. All right, this is called, I like this. We've got to send our support to Alyssa Clips because she's been, I guess, flagged That's it. Like I'm trying to read it up while we're going through the stream. But basically what happened is that Melton has been flagging Alyssa Clip's channel, and she's received a 7-day timeout, so she won't be able to post anything for 7 days. She's appealed it, but until that appeal comes back, she won't be able to post, which is very sad because she does some of the best clipping in the sector. Although the appeal could be dismissed tomorrow, then she could be able to upload. But if Melton, when you get claimed with one of these clips, you've got 30 days to respond. So she could be, this appeal could be going for 30 days, but she can't post for 7 at this current date. I understand. All right, we'll watch this in 1.2 high speed. Let's. This is Nick's bad news, Null and Bodycam, old Legal Bites drama, and Kurt's mistake.
Oh yeah. So briefly, I guess this morning before I got some. I got some
Actually, Nick's too whiny at 1.2. I'll just take this down to normal.
negative news about.
Also, this is his stream tonight. So this was at 1 a.m. The micropene counter was at 1. He got 1 chat for the 1 micropene. You can see the cheeky 347 people watching.
But this is someone who is someone I've always kind of looked up to, and I like. And I got some negative news about their health today.
Very sad. Like, honestly, unironically, like if this is happening, even though I'm against Nick, it's this family shit or friendship happens. That's sad. That's sad for everyone involved.
And I, like it just hit. It hit kind of nasty earlier, so I didn't. When trial ending really early in the day, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just put it in for a little bit and not do a trial stream because I was in a down mood and it wasn't a good time.
Yeah, because sometimes you're just too sad and you can't go to work. Like, I do agree it's sad, but like if a friend or like a celebrity or an icon in your family gets sick, most people aren't allowed to just skip work. You're so privileged, He gets to just take the day off for being sad. He took an entire fucking year off for being sad. Okay. Now it's what's one more day? What's one more day?
When a good time to be on camera for that. So
yeah, that's if this is true. That's if this is true. A lot of people suggest that the reason that he actually got a phone call was that he'd either heard about the body cam or that somebody was asking to view it, because the person that went in to go see it, I believe yesterday, they said that the attitude in the courtroom was very strange. It was different. It was frantic. It seems like the county's really actually got a conspiracy to protect Nick for some odd reason.
We'll see how everything goes. But I got good news earlier as well in regards to something.
The body cam. So he's just heard that the prosecutor is going to come to bat for him for some reason. Probably money.
That's out there, or that particularly isn't out there. That there's a fat retarded man who claims to be in Siberia, but I think actually lives somewhere in the States now. Who's really
also he's stress eating. He's eating chocolate at 1 a.m. That's an easy way to get fat, Nick.
Really like desperately trying to get it, but he didn't read the law, and he got bad news today. Well, I got good news, so that was funny.
I mean, this isn't actually news though, because I mean it is news, but it's just news that the body cam has been held out because nobody's signed off on this yet. So judges are now demanding that it be released, and the county sheriff is saying, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to think about it until Monday. So I don't know. I think the county's going to fold if they actually have a law firm in Minnesota that comes to bat, that actually says, no, look, we're actually going to sue for this. This is our legal right. Hand it over, boys. You agreed to hand it over. You asked for a certain amount of money. Now the money is still in Josh Moon's account, but they asked for like $6,000 basically because of the man hours required in censoring out the minors from the body cam.
But I'm not going to sit and make like a spectacle of it.
This is his victory lap, by the way. This is how sad he is. It's 1 a.m. He types on Twitter, all caps, emergency stream. Then he's just like, yeah, I had a pretty sad day, but I got some good news because Josh Moon, he's going to have to sue for the body cam. That's great news for me. I'm not sure if that's great news. It's annoying. It's just slowing things down. He may as well just release it now and get it over and done with. Then he might actually get some views on his channel.
Funny to me.
People would come and watch his show for that.
In general, it's not a game. This person has severe mental problems.
Yeah, it's not a game, except when Nick was doing it, when Nick was watching body cams, when Nick was talking about body cams, when Nick was exposing DMs, when Nick was making fun of retards, when Nick was punching down, when Nick was making Your life, profit. My life, private. Stalker weirdos. Anyway, let's get back to our round-the-clock 6 weeks coverage of Johnny Depp's personal details where Amber Heard is shitting on his bed and shit. Haha, that's funny. She's shitting on the bed. Oh, wait, you can't see the shit in my bed. That'd be outrageous. You can't see the piles of clothes and the cocaine lying out in the open. That would be terrible. Yeah, rules for these, but not for me's. He reads your question in a second. We'll see that.
They're obsessive and they're a toddler when they don't get their way.
Release the body cam footage if Josh can do 10 push-ups.
No, it's over.
It'll never come out. Not with that attitude. Not with that energy. Why are you gloating? No one signed off on the request, and 2 judges have said to release it. 2 judges have not said to release it. What are you talking about? That being said,
well, Josh has stated that a judge has ordered it, and I believe a secondary opinion came through. Those are the 2 judges. I don't know who they are, though. I have not seen this. This is the words of Josh Moon.
Someone who filed for the request under a false name and has spent the past several weeks on the internet talking about his actual purpose of the body cam probably shouldn't go before the court and say that it's for news gathering purposes or public interest when it's clearly for private interest.
No, it's a public interest. There's a large amount of people want to see this. Body cam footage viewing is, I mean, personally, I think it's very intrusive. And but this is the law in America, right? It's a very normal thing. There's entire channels built around this, like What's Up, Uwu Crew. Now, this is obviously public interest. Tens of thousands of people want to see this content. And you've also made statements that the police were stealing things from you and perhaps planting evidence and perhaps touching your daughter's head, which would then make her hair test positive for metabolites. It doesn't work like that, but that's what Nick has said. So there is a reason that the public would want to see this, to verify that the Minnesota police raid team, whatever, are not, taking all these liberties with their duties and stealing coke from people and stealing their property and mocking their Baldo collection or something. There is a public interest here. Now, I'm not sure. Is he talking about Josh Moon here? Does Josh Moon have a fake? I know Josh Moon changed his name, but he didn't have a fake name. Like Nick is saying this guy was like arrested or something. Who's he talking about here? Maybe he says that in a second.
Conducting a campaign of public shame. Courts don't like it when you lie.
Well, then why did your dad lie to them?
I don't know if Josh knows that or not. So anyway, like I said, it's it's not a game to me at all.
Yeah, because my life, private. Your life, profit.
It might be a game to Josh, and that's fine. And he can lie to the courts. And he can,
It's not a game to Josh, though. This is his job. His job is the owner and the operator of the Kiwi Farms. And the Kiwi Farms is essentially a gossip website, and people like to use it to gather information about people. It's a bit of a puzzle hunt, right? It's interesting to use legal methods, and these are legal methods, to try and obtain information or talk about people and just expand the public discourse on lolcows. You might, like, some people might be against it, like a lot of the Keffels crew were against it, right? But it wasn't illegal. What they're doing they're allowed to do it, and this is their free speech. Nick used to advocate for free speech, except when it was against him. So no, this isn't a game to Josh. This is his job, and he has solicited money from people for the purpose of obtaining this material. So he's obligated to do so. He has a contract with these people. Otherwise, he'll have to donate the money, or it'd be basically, if Josh Moon just took the money for the body cam and spent it on a trip or something, that would be fraud. He has a very big investment in this.
Do whatever he's going to do. But I'll just let the process work through it. And, I think the law is on my side.
We'll see.
But maybe I'm wrong.
The sheriff is certainly on his side for some reason. The prosecutor seems to be on his side, despite that Nick said that they were out there to get him.
We'll find out, I suppose.
It really is baffling.
It would be kind of embarrassing if the first time I ever won in court was against Josh.
So there's a thing, fake it till you make it. Holy shit, we got an elite amount of people. We got 1337 people watching. That's some old internet memes there. Very based. Big stream this week. We have a lot of big streams this week, actually. I think this is the 4th time this month we've beaten Nick on views. But it seems like that's going to be a very common occurrence going forward. Not due to my success, more to his failure. If we're being honest, if we're being truth about it. But yeah, there's a thing called fake it till you make it. People don't want to watch somebody that is like depressed and that is like a loser. They want to watch people that are successful. They want to watch people that are confident. They want to watch people that are having fun. So even though Nick is about to say that he has really actually won court cases, guys, for real. He believes that this is what he believes. This is in his mind. His mind is that he's a loser and he's never won anything. And this is the ick. Like the girl bros in chat can confirm this. Nick is exuding an aura, a dark aura of ick. And when people see it, and wine mums are his actual demographic, like it's like mostly old true crime wine mums that have got their third box of Franzia for the night, and they just want to listen to Karen Reed, and they want to hear people call. They just want to see Nicky Boy, and like have their parasocial relationship with him or whatever. These people, they're getting icked out by Nick, and that's why he's gross. He's disgusting. He's ghoulish. He's got flies on him. He's smelly. He's greasy. He's skinny. He's got the arms of a little girl. He can't even beat a woman in an argument. Like, what kind of man is he? That's why his view numbers are going down. You can just see it in his face. Like, just look at his face. It's at this moment he knew he fucked up. He's letting his inside thoughts be projected to the world, that he's a loser, that he can't win. This is why you should fake it till you make it. Nick, you're doing bad right now. This is a tip for you. I know you're watching. You've got to pretend you're winning. Pretend you're having fun. I know your fake laugh is terrible, but just pretend, and then the audience will like it. Culliver with a 5 says, meme thinking of moving to Osaka. Can a person live on $3,500 a month in Japan, and what kind of lifestyle? Hold on a second. 305,000. I want to say yes. Wait, sorry, 3,500 USD. How much is that Japanese yen? That's like 500,000 Japanese yen. Yes, you can have a very good lifestyle in that. Like the prices of living in Japan is very low. And that's, I don't know how old you are, but the average salary for like an office worker, like if anyone in their 20s, like basically this is how it works out. When you're in your 20s, you earn about 200,000 yen. When you're in your 30s, you earn about 300,000 yen. And it kind of goes, so your earning is on par with people that have been working in the companies their entire life until they're 50. 500,000 yen is a really good lifestyle in Japan. You live like a king. Especially if you go cheap. If you like my apartment is like $400 a month. Now I've got a small apartment, but I'm going to move soon. Price of living is super cheap in Japan. You're going to have a great time. If you can, yeah, I'd say do it. I mean, maybe spend like a month or two in Japan first to see if you actually like the lifestyle, because traveling to Japan and living in Japan are two different things. But yeah, $300, $500 a month, you can absolutely live in Japan. You can live in Tokyo for that easy. Tokyo is actually fairly cheap city to live in. Skibbo says, where was this energy at Hackamania, Nick? Good question. Very good question. Harada with a 100 sec says, this smells like old money corrupting the justice system. I kind of wonder if there was an implicit promise there. Like maybe they're like, well, like Nick is going to take his probation. He'll be there for 5 years. He's going to do community service, and we're going to help out the community and repair the image with like, donations and things. We're trying to repair our family name. Just don't do anything to impeach our family name. He's a good boy. He didn't do nothing. I kind of feel like that might be the case. Sorry, where was I? And also, Nick has downgraded from wine mums to crack mums. This is actually true. I've seen some of the people that criticize me, and they're basically all cracked out, crack mums. That's why they still think that he's their guy, because it's like, well, that could be me there, but the grace of God goes me. I mean, or they just relate to him. They've actually had their own kids taken away. They've had their lives destroyed by cocaine, and they're like, yeah, I can relate to this guy. Like, unironically. Hey, expert in the chat. How's it going, buddy? Is Alyssa Clips in the chat too? Wait, Alyssa Clips, send me a message of what happened to your channel. I heard you got striked by Melton and you're down for 7 days or something. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the stream.
Right. I mean, I've won in court before.
Have you?
But that's the narrative. So since I lose every case, it'd be really embarrassing if Josh lost against me.
Okay. Breaking news from Alyssa Clips. My appeal has been granted. They let me out of YouTube jail already. So Alyssa Clips is getting less punishment on YouTube than Hassan is getting on Twitch. I mean, Hassan deserves his punishments. Alyssa doesn't, but she's just doing the clipping content. Very based. Keep going. Keep the W's in the chat. Can we get W's, Alyssa? That's very cool to see. That's great. Good stuff.
Nick, I have a friend.
I want to say this. I love Alyssa. She always makes me look smarter in my clips. Like whenever she clips me, she like takes out all the dumb arguments and she makes sure all my good arguments are in there, and she takes out all the pauses and everything. So I unironically have better content on Alyssa's channel I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be saying this, okay? But the premium content from my channel is on Alyssa's channel.
You didn't cheat on your wife. Can you please explain?
Oh wait, sorry. This is too good. I forgot this was in here. This is so funny.
It's me.
Nick, I have a friend who doesn't believe me that you didn't cheat on your wife. Can you please explain to them how it wasn't cheating?
No.
I'm not sure if that was an honest super chat or not, but there you go. There you go. I'm gonna listen to that again. No. Nope. It's indefensible. It's indefensible. Now let's one more time. I gotta hear that again.
Can you please explain to them how it wasn't cheating?
No. I'm not going to talk about that on this show. Trudeau says...
All right, so Trudeau actually sent this same super chat to me tonight, but Nick isn't going to... Alyssa was nice enough to include it. I'll make sure that he gets it read, though.
Or not Trudeau. Hookah Cat. I'm not going to read Trudeau's.
All right, Trudeau said, "Hey, bud, you deserve a Kayla nude unit. Sorry that it's been devalued because it's only a 10th of its original value. But between the state, because Nick said the nudes to the state so they could verify the nipples, Aaron and Energy King, there has been too many out there. Yeah, the inflation is running rampant on the Kayla nude units. They're not what they used to be."
He can go fuck himself.
You know, when there was that whole drama.
All right, before we get into the Kurt section, Jefferson C. Post says, "If I feel sad, I go to work to feel better." This is unironically true. If you do work, your body feels better. If you like clean, like when I feel like down, I actually clean my house. That's why my house is so dirty right now, because I've been having such a good time this last month. I've got no time for cleaning. But like cleaning is like the best penance, and it makes you feel better. Like doing something physical makes your body feel better. And that's Nick's problem, is that he hasn't done anything physical in the last year. That's why he has the physique of Eugenia Cooney.
Between like Legal Bites and Nick Rekieta over like who should be covering a trial or whatever, and then
there was no drama over that.
Yes, there was. There was an entire fallout. It was called the the LordTube Civil War. Just because you didn't talk to the person or you just ignored them straight away does not mean there was no drama. It just means that you were part of the drama, but you just didn't comment on it.
It got weird. I just said, hey, you should cover it as much as you want. And
Legal Bites was like weird though. She was a snake. I have included a couple of her clips recently because they're funny in retrospect. But yeah, Legal Bites was a bit of a weirdo.
I won't even invite anybody onto my show.
Like she was like getting people to do like loyalty oaths or something, basically. Like it was like I think Kurt, if he was still here, he could comment on this because he went to her wedding. Like apparently they had like a struggle session where they were trying to get oaths of loyalty from LordTubers or something. It was like this weird thing I forgot about.
I'll suggest that if they want to come onto my show after yours, they certainly can, but I will, whatever. I'll step over here and I'll just do this. And then, so I invited new people to my show because I was like, I would like friends to be on the show with me. And that's what I did with the Johnny Depp thing. And Legal Bites was like, this is mine. This is my thing. I own this. And I was like, oh.
Well, that's not exactly what happened. I mean, at least as far as I understand it, like she wanted to have basically DUI guy went to the trial in public and he made like a face when someone said something spicy in the courtroom. And then Legal Bites was kind of starting like a purity test or something like we're lawyers, we should have a certain code of conduct or something. We can't react like this because we're going to interfere with the court, something like that. And then she was talking about closing the ranks of LordTube and not letting anyone in. Like they wanted to start making people pass tests or something. It was very strange. I will admit it was a very strange time.
All right, that's weird. I'm going to stream it on my show though, and I won't get in your way. That was the drama. Like that was it. And then she kicked Larry out of LawTube or whatever. It was super gay and weird. Apparently her husband wanted to hit me. Probably still does. That'd be funny.
I actually believe that is the case. But I'm sure a lot of people want to punch Nick, so it's not too bad. But like Legal Bites' husband was a bit weird as well. I heard some stories about him, but I guess I shouldn't repeat them because I did hear them in confidence. But there was some weird stuff with the struggle sessions, and Legal Bites' husband.
I had said some things, and there was this whole like campaign, and I just stood out of it and didn't comment when things like kind of blew up. In a very public way. There was this really public blow up between the two of them. And
there wasn't a blow up between the two of us. I said I had a very calm video as to why I didn't want to be in LawTube, and I gave very good.
Hold on a second. No, I think Nick was very calm at the time, but this is your very calm man, sir. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear.
Good advice on everybody in it. Like, don't do this. Every community collapses and crumbles, and they all turn into infighting, and it's really dumb because people get jealous. So
Everything
just do
comes
your
to
own
dust.
shows. Like, just
This is true. There was jealousy between certain parties, but a lot of the people that had jealousy are still baldo washing and falling in line for Nick.
do your shows and invite people on, and please don't put me in there. I don't want to be in an organized thing called LawTube at all. So
Yeah, there was some gay stuff where they were like, you know, those like LawTube like characters, like the cartoon characters that Sean uses as like a profile picture. They like somebody drew that as like fan art, and then they were like asking for like releases so that they could license the content or something. That was pretty lame. I mean, there were lawyers, right? Like, of course, there was money hungry lawyers involved, and they wanted to make everything there so that they could corner the market and basically charge what they wanted.
keep me out of it, because you shouldn't be able to throw someone out or bring.
Like, Nick was kind of right here in this, that the communities were kind of gay like that. Like, he was like, Nick is wrong most of the time, but when he's right, he's right. We got a broken clock and everything. He was right about this, that the LawTube group thing and trying to control it and purity test, that was all pretty gay.
Someone in or whatever. No one should be in charge of that. I was right. Still am. 100%. Palmyra Media says a lot of people seem to forget or don't know what Kurt did or didn't do as a friend or so-called. Instead, he decided for clicks over friendship. Yeah.
This is not true. This is just not true. Kurt chose integrity over friendship, if anything, because Kurt, if nothing else, is a very honest person, and he wanted to defend Nick as long as he could. But when he realized that the warrant was unassailable, he said so. And then when the Coke report came out, that's when he said, like, this is not okay, and he just spoke out against Nick. He never betrayed people for clicks. Like, Kurt never got like a lot of clicks for this. In fact, quite the opposite. He suffered because of this. He's recovering now, but he was like branded as a baldo washer, and he was suffering because of it. Because like anyone that was like going to bat for Nick at this time was getting a lot of shit from the A-logs and everything, because rightly so, they're upset when they heard that a 9-year-old girl tested positive for 10 times the cutoff of a cocaine metabolite test in her hair after Nick was arrested for being a seething degenerate. So of course there was public outrage. Like, any normal person would be angry about this story. Of course, Nick doesn't understand this because he's not a normal person. But no, Kurt chose to just, he said what his opinion of the law was. He didn't change his opinion for Nick. And then he said that this was not okay. And that's what that got him, I guess, excommunicado.
I didn't like that. And I was mildly ribbing Kurt over it.
Mildly ribbing Kurt is he's got his micro ping counter in the bottom corner. I was just mildly ribbing Kurt. He's seethed at Kurt almost as much as he's seethed at Keanu.
I mean, he torched the friendship with that, but
I thought Nick didn't abandon friends, right?
But I was just making.
Now, Nick is still friends with Ethan Ralph, a man that said that his wife was a slag, which ended up being true, and that his children were retarded, which I hope isn't the case. But Nick would be friends with that guy, but he won't be friends with Kurt.
He took the voices away, and I just thought that that was a mistake. That was a mistake when he's like when he went after the company and said, please take my voice down or whatever.
No, he didn't. He sent a cease and desist. He said, look, you do not have my permission to use your voice, these voices, please take them down. And they did, because that's their terms of service. Like, Nick is so mad about this. It's just like when the teacher took away his Transformers. He's so salty that Kurt's like, oh, actually, I don't give my permission. Take them down, please. Oh, okay. Don't have our permission. We'll take it down. Then Nick is like, Kurt is trying to destroy my, like, he's just seething. It's just anger.
Then it's like, okay, well, now you're getting mocked. And then with the mockery has come.
There is a reason that Nick goes after Kurt in particular as well. It's because Kurt is like an easy target. He said some very cringe things, and he was kind of going through a bad patch. It seems like he actually has depression or something. So he's a very easy target, and Nick always senses a weak target. That's what he's just trained himself to do this over the years, is to go for whoever's got blood in the water. And that's why he thinks he can attack Kurt. But unfortunately, Kurt's doing pretty well for himself recently. In fact, better than Nick has done so far. Nick could fail to reach 3,000 live viewers. Kurt has had 2 streams over 4,000, one of them going up to 5,000. I think Kurt is doing less numbers than Nick tonight. Let me have a quick look. Kurt currently has 650 people. Nick has only 1,100. Oh, Nick, you need 200 of us, 200 of my chance to go over and help you. You need to send some support. Just send me the DM. Apologize, and maybe I'll send over some boys to help you out there, little Nicky boy. Obviously my streams are usually smaller than this. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a big streamer, but I'm having fun. I'm having a bit of fun, just like potentially criminals sending me money and having fun doing so, like everyone else should be doing. Sorry. I had to separate for a while. Was a medical emergency with a person he looked up about Romaine or Energy King getting irreversible ED. I assume that is the case. Unfortunately, Hedonism 3 is off the menu, boys. He wanted to make that hat trick. It's very, very sad. Unfortunately, Rougette has been outlawed in the US or something, maybe. Scarecrow also said Nick wanted to pretend to be above the drama, and he had his capos to sweep like Sargon did versus Medica and Sargon, old Lord. And this is not true, though. Like, Nick would absolutely encourage the drama because people would come and talk to him about it, and he would read their super chats. Like, everybody knows that it's people love to talk about drama. Nick's entire channel is about drama. What do you think Maddox versus the very first case, right, that Nick ever covered was Maddox versus Dick Masterson? It was drama. It was just a soap opera. Like, there was girlfriends being stolen and lol suits and people calling each other's names and entire shows dedicated to A-logging Maddox. The thing is, Nick hasn't really realized yet, but he's the Maddox. He wanted to be Dick Masterson, but he ended up becoming the Maddox. And eventually I think that Dick Masterson's going to realize that as well. And he's got that easy pickings there because going after Eric July hasn't been working very well for Dick, unfortunately.
The revelations of this. I probably have the timeline on that somewhat wrong, but the revelations of this have been, someone's like, why didn't you bring this up before? Well, I didn't know he did this. And it says it was published a year ago.
So Nick is now making the claim that if he had known that Kurt said these cringe things, and Kurt was in the chat earlier and he said, yeah, it was cringe, I shouldn't have said it. He's like, well, now I know, so I have a right to go after him, because Nick knows that these sort of allegations, universally people hate them. Very strange though, but he decides to hang out all day in Melton's chat, a guy that literally said that he was writing songs about 6- and 7-year-olds fucking. Not even kidding. He said this the last time we did a stream about this, when Keanu was with him. So we have an entire Third World Aristocrat 6-minute expose on Melton where he's just talking about all his funny jokes about children. Then he goes and releases this new information that he made songs. He would literally write songs about children, 6- and 7-year-old boys and girls doing weird shit. The same guy that has an AI voice chat that was of Aaron's daughter. He's constantly talking about turning Aaron's daughter into like a cup holder by sticking her upside down and sticking a cup in, you know what. These guys, it's okay to be friends with, but Kurt, oh my goodness, he's eating pizza casserole. He's saying cringe things about dating 18-year-olds. Oh my goodness.
Kind of busy. I didn't see this until very recently.
People do that? Sure.
Energy Gang responds to Sean to saying, potentially criminal, that's personal. We both keep some secrets confidential. There you go.
I do not.
This is very true. I said this.
Endorse.
I said this from the very beginning of the stream. At the end of the day, the law is drama. Yes. This is the hypocrisy that drives me crazy. It's like, why are people so interested in this when he literally spends all day talking about personal drama in law cases? Ron Versation, like, even just going back on his channel, like, he would just spend entire shows talking about reading DMs. He would just talk to like retards and like Shane Holmberg or Ron Toye, and he would go hard on them. And it seems like the reason he was going so hard on these characters, like Ron Toye, who threw a remote at his wife and threatened a judge's kid, is probably because he saw something in them that he saw in himself. And ultimately, that's the problem, is that your biggest enemy is the one you have inside yourself. And Nick is, he seems to be acting out and getting particularly angry at people that are guilty of the thing, or that he's saying are guilty of the things that he himself has done. Like, that's why he was saying that Aaron was such an abusive person. He's so mad at Aaron for doing these things because he himself is likely, well, I mean, I believe, is much more worse.
His statements about minors, and it has like, I already was very uncomfortable with how he treated women in general.
Yeah, Kurt treats women really, really badly. Man that had 3-hour scream session against someone who doesn't even matter in his life. Yeah, Kurt's the one that treats women strangely. It's just so outrageous, really.
Minor statements have put me over the top. Like, someone's like, is there a place where you guys reconciled? Like, No, not anymore. Like, no.
All right. There we go. All right, let's get some words of wisdom. Our moment of zen from Nick Rekieta. So this is a paid, I believe this was a $20 super chat from Nick Rekieta. He says, the world of men is missing in integrity, fortitude, and confronting the depths of emotion that come from proper journey. Those that could not walk the path should be relegated to the wagons pulled by the men who forge their own path and carry a full burden. Darkness lurks behind every morning and waits to overtake a man unafraid to use his hands to tell this story. Keep speaking and teaching, brother. You've got the magic, but I digress. I'm pretty sure he's quoting something, but I don't know what. I don't know what that is about. But the absolute audacity of this guy to say the world of men is missing integrity, fortitude, and confronting the depths of emotion. That's just like, holy shit. Holy shit. Mitch says, hey, Josh. Hello there, Mitch. Energy King says, oh, I read this one already. Sorry. Super Iron Bob says, who will speak? Doe the cuck, Maddox will. How the mighty have fallen. It's kind of funny how everything turned around. Everything's come full circle. Nick kind of started his career talking about DMs and screaming and raging at people, and that's what he does now. That's his main bread and butter, I suppose, of the last week. All righty, boys. That was about 2 hours. It's almost big show tonight. About 1,300 people we got in the chat. If you're watching on replay, be sure to hit that like and subscribe and everything. I think that's all I got for you tonight. Let me just have a quick look. Although I guess somebody said that Alyssa. Well, let me just check Alyssa clips because Alyssa was banned, but then someone said that she posted something new. What is this? What is this? There's a 41-minute video. I'm not watching that. Blue Hand Nick. He would never share his wife. Couldn't be a cuck, and I'll review this. 41 minutes. That's a big one. That's a big one. The thumbnail's a banger though. Maybe you can go watch this after the stream. Have a look. That's a brutal thumb. Like, hold on a second. This might be for the next show. How do I do this? So look at the thumbnail overview. Views. No wait, there it is. Look at this thumbnail. It's bad, bros. Record scratch. Yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here. All right, so raid Nick. If he didn't block me, I might have raided him. But, you know, if he's blocked me, obviously he doesn't want to see. It's fine. He's only got 1,000 people watching him. It's I think we'll raid Kurt. Send our energy to Kurt. Hit that like button. If everyone go to Kurt's channel right fucking now, he will beat the Rekieta minutes. Go to Kurt's channel. Like his video. Say, let's fucking go, or meme raid or something. I'm going to raid you guys over there. But if you don't want to, if you also want to go there of your own volition, because some people get lost, you want to hear the man, the legend, the casserole king, there's the link to go see Kurt's thing. And I'll be out for now. So have a great night and a great weekend. Don't seethe and just mold like Nick is. And thank you for everything tonight. Big stream, big support, and peace. I'm out of here.